This conference will now be recorded.
And I'm going to hand it over to our board president, James Stone.
Thank you, Stephanie. It is 6:01, so we are going to call the meeting to order at this time. Stephanie, can you do the certification of quorum and the proof of notice, please?
Yes, we do have a quorum today. We have all 5 board members present and in person. So quorum is met. And I also certify that public notice of this meeting was posted at least 48 hours in advance in accordance with Florida Statute 720.
Excellent, thank you. The next item is the approval of the past board minutes. May I have a motion to approve as outlined?
Motion to approve.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion by the board? Any discussion by the audience? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda is the management report. Stephanie?
You want to do the treasurer's report first?
Oh, you missed that one.
Manager's report?
Want to do the management report? What you put in there?
Okay, we're going to do the manager's report at this time. So this is reporting on the month of November 2024. We can start with our arrears report. So the total due right now to the association is $122,000. That is a little more than it was in October. And over 90 days, at this moment, it's $85,000. We currently have 12 accounts at attorney. And then owed from Lennar at the end of November, the amount owed from Lennar was just over $11,000. I can give you a report as of today. We have collected most of that. So they actually owe us right now just over $3,000. And also an update, there is only one home at this time still owned by Lennar, and it is actually pending sale. So we should have no homes owned by Lennar very soon. The 2 top homes right now that owe the association total $56,000. In the month of November, we actually closed on no homes. And our 24/7 customer care center, we had 45 inquiries in total, and 12 of them were escalated to on-site management. The majority of the issues that were raised in our customer care inquiries related to either violations received or making their $900 annual F&B payment for 2025. Work order information. We received 59 work orders with landscaping. 49 of those were just general maintenance questions, 2 were irrigation, 2 were fertilization, and 6 were site visit or proposal requests by United. Violations, we issued 32 violations in the month of November, but we did a lot of follow-up as we issued 167 in October. So there was a lot of follow-up during November time. Currently open, we have 47 violations. In November, we issued 24 parking violations and we towed 1 vehicle. Architectural review, we had 2 dates in November, one on November 5th and one on November 19th. We processed 44 ARC applications. Of those 44, 30 were approved, 10 were conditionally approved, and 3 were denied. I realize that equals 43 and not 44. I think, yeah, 1 was withdrawn. Okay, thank you. Landscaping information. We actually had no repairs or irrigation repairs needed in November. So there were no proposals sent for any repairs that were needed for November. Landscaping wise though, United spent most of the month doing palm tree pruning, common area tree straightening, and canopy lifting, and that still continues right now through December. Some projects and updates. We had various street signs replaced by mailbox solutions from hurricane damage. 2 signs were on Ace Loop and 1 sign was on Downswing Place. We had a bee removal company on site to remove a very large beehive from the golf course parking lot area that was inside of an irrigation box. We had Spees pools on site for repairing 2 small holes at the bottom of the plaza lower pool. This work was completed as part of the 558 with Lennar, and proper 10-day notice was given. We had a company on site to perform a deep cleaning of the hood system in the plaza kitchen. Did they do golf grill as well?
Yeah.
And golf grill. We had commercial fitness on site. They're our preventative maintenance company for our gym equipment, and we had them on site for a consultation regarding some upgrades and options to our cardio equipment in the gym. This is all in the very early stages, so we don't have any proposals yet to share, but we will put that together once we get them and present it. But first, we're going to be looking at swapping out some of the treadmills and then the ellipticals. They also confirmed that they offer a buyback program where we would essentially trade in our used equipment towards to use as a credit towards new equipment that we either purchase or lease. We had our HVAC preventative maintenance company on site to perform preventative maintenance on all of the plaza HVAC units. We will shortly be scheduling preventative maintenance for the HVAC units at Golf Grill, as well as the golf maintenance facility. And we had JCK Electric on site to convert the pool deck lights and the lights inside of the pools to photocell rather than being on timers. And this just means that the lights now turn on automatically when it is dark enough outside, and we're not having to rely on setting and resetting timers. And that is all I have for my management report at this time. Oh, and with that being said, sorry, I'm going to pass you over to James Kynan, our food and beverage director. If you cannot project, then yes.
Use the microphone.
Yeah,
turn it on.
we have to turn it on though.
Careful by the mic. Hello, everybody. How are we doing?
Yeah.
Okay, so just
Speak up, sorry for the people online.
just a couple of quick notes. I know November was quite a very, very good month here. And we had a couple of great golf events that happened over the month of November. We had our No Snow, which was a very, very successful event. And also we had our tournament that happened over the weekend, which was quite a success also. This month is a very, very big month for us. We are going to be relatively busy. I know we have our Christmas party here tomorrow. Friday, we have our cigar and whiskey night that's going to be done at Golf Grill from 6 to 8, which will have some live music. We have some food specials that are going to be infused with a little bit of whiskey and bourbon. We have some several new whiskeys that we're going to be putting on display as well, along with we're going to be putting some cigars up there for special for some sales and whatnot. I was actually trying to get a pop-up shop in here, but unfortunately they weren't able to do so. But I know this is not going to be the only one that we're going to be doing. The next one that we're going to be having, I've already been in contact with a guy that actually hand-rolls cigars. So that will be something that will be a little bit different than actually just buying the ones that we can buy from our retailers. Not really much else to say, but we do have our New Year's Eve batches that are going to be going on for golf and for Plaza. Looking at good numbers so far, so really, really excited to be hosting those. That's pretty much it.
Thank you, James.
Thanks, James.
All right, next up, we are going to introduce Ben Johnson, our Director of Golf.
All right, good evening, everybody. Yeah, November in golf, we saw some really solid numbers. Total rounds, we had 3,716. Of those, 1,798 were member rounds, and yes, the public rounds were 1,918. We did 1,709,448 in total greens and cart fee revenue. Once the hurricane rainwaters kind of subsided there a little bit, great weather throughout the month of November, great time to be out there on the golf course. We had our member event on the 9th and 10th, very successful, a lot of great feedback on that. We had 80 golfers participate. Ethan's team did a great job on the golf course, getting it ready, and solid event through and through. And everybody on my staff in the golf department took it to that next level for the member experience. We had the Thanksgiving shotgun on the 28th, had 67 players participate, go play some golf before the Thanksgiving feast, so very successful there, had some fun. And one of my pride and joys were our little Linksters program we do on Saturday mornings. Our little hour clinics is doubled in size from when we first started it in the end of September to current point. We have about 16 junior golfers showing up now. So we started with 8, little grassroots movement, and really looking forward to where that's going to go. You know, as we get to get out of school, transition that into a new opportunity in terms of junior golf for the club, PGA Junior League, PGA Family Golf, and working on keeping the future of golf strong here, and you know, kind of start little grassroots movements and find one of my 401ks. And, you know, but other than that, pretty much it by me, short and sweet.
Thanks, Ben.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Ben.
All right, and last but not least, we have Mitch England, our lifestyle director.
Saving the best for last as always. Hello, everyone. Thanks for being here tonight. Let's see, December so far, we've had a great month. November, we also had a great month. For this month, we've seen a lot of holiday events already. We've started off with we had an ornament exchange. We've done so many holiday things. We had holiday trivia on Tuesdays. We did our wreath and ornament decorating on Thursday last week? Yeah, Thursday last week. Yeah, which was great. So thank you for everybody that came out for that. Let's see, coming up here, tomorrow night we have trivia. Again, it is elf trivia and a Christmas story themed trivia, if you haven't seen those emails yet. And then on Wednesday, we have our White Elephant Ugly Sweater Party, if anybody wants to attend. I sent information out about that today. On Friday, we have our cigar and whiskey night, which James mentioned already. And then Saturday, we have our holiday party and golf cart parade. So if you haven't gotten your information into me that you want to partake in the golf cart parade, please do so now. And then in January, we will kind of take a step back and let everybody recuperate from the holidays. And we're going to plan some really fun events for you looking forward into January, February, and March. So we're already starting to look at those to get things going. One of our big things coming up in February is going to be our Super Bowl party, so keep an eye out for that. James is planning to have the restaurant open late into the evening so we can enjoy the Super Bowl game that day on February 9th. We'll have our Valentine's Day dinner. We'll celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. Day, all the fun things that brings a new year. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Mitch.
Thanks, Mitch.
And our New Year's Eve bash, don't forget that.
Okay. All right, next up, we are going to do our treasurer's report. So if you could give me a moment to get the slide up.
Okay, I missed it. Are you recovered from the wedding?
Second slide.
Yep.
I should just delete the cover page. It just has the date on it. I'll just move that.
Up there?
Yeah. All right. So very familiar to what I presented for the past 6 months or so. Jesus. Yes. So on the first page is a cash summary. So if you're looking at, there's two different columns.
I'm so sorry, just give me one moment. For some reason, it's not pulling up the.
There we go. Oh, there it is.
Small.
Nope, there you're back.
You see?
No? Okay, here we go.
Bigger. Oh, hang on.
Go ahead. Sorry, Alan.
All right, so again, we have the cash on hand trending favorably. The orange is 2024, the blue is 2023. So we're about 120,000 favorable compared to prior year. Our reserves are at 900,000. That will probably hit 7 figures early next year, but as you recall from last board meeting, we approved the pump house replacement. That's going to bring that reserve figure back down to 6 figures in 2025, but it will continue to trend up. And the villa reserves continue to, there's no spending in the foreseeable future, next year or two. So that will continue to trend upwards as well. So again, good sign on the cash, the reserves, and the villa reserves. Next slide.
Why are you doing it? It's to do with cash.
It takes a second. There it is.
Okay.
All right, so on the revenue side, so again, the top of this is 2024, the bottom is just a comparison through 2023. So if you look at the golf revenue, significantly up from prior year, but a little bit behind budget. And remember in October, we had the hurricanes, we lost about a week. Of that variance of 63,000, about 39,000 is merchandise. We're starting to see an uptick, so we're up, I think, 5,000 year over year in October. So maybe we're starting to see a little bit of trend. And I know we've got a merchandise refresh, we've done pop-ups and things like that. So hopefully that will continue to nick into that negative variance. And 24K of it was golfing revenue. Again, lost a week relating to Hurricane Milton. But overall, compared to prior year, in very good shape. As you look at the plaza, we had 100 additional owners take the annual food minimum, the $900. So year over year, it gets a little hard to compare because in prior years, we had a lot more stuff expire than the 75. So we really won't know what the plaza revenue will look like year over year to budget until we get to the end of the year. Again, from a financial perspective, if some expires, not a bad thing because it just drops to the bottom line, but I'd rather see owners use their food minimums and come up with a plaza. Just don't do it on December 31st because we're closed for New Year's Eve, but don't do it on December 30th because James will be swamped if there's 1,000 takeout orders and people are ordering, $300 worth of food. So try to like get here in the next, week or so and spread it out if you can, if you got a lot of your $900 left. Admin and plaza are up, and that's, generally the interest income we're earning on, the funds that we don't need in the short term, as well as any delinquency fees, and the home resales. Well, apparently this month we had none, so that could trend a little bit down next month. The grill revenue, while missing budget, was also up 10% year over year in October. So again, that was despite the hurricane closure. So I think we're starting to see a little bit, I think it was to do with the busy season as well. A lot of snowbirds are back in town, so we're starting to see pickup in both the plaza and the grill. So hopefully some of the variances will continue to improve. Next slide. And then the expense side, again, very favorable overall, just a little play between golf and plaza. So favorable to budget in golf, very favorable to budget, mostly related to wage items, but favorable on contracts and utilities and other areas as well. There is some seasonality with Ethan spending, et cetera, so we might see that again decline a little bit as it goes to the end of the year. In the plaza, that's pretty much wage-related things, overtime, some headcount. But October was actually slightly positive to budget. So last month, I think that was a negative 166. So again, we're seeing that start to shift a little bit. Again, hopefully with some of the events we've done in November and we'll do in December, we'll see that variance come down as well. Grill looking fine, admin looking fine. So again, overall, net income-wise, we're about 270 to the positive. So our fund balance, again, we've got 2 months to go, but the fund balance should look healthy for year end. Any questions? Great, thanks.
Okay, let me just stop sharing.
Okay, thanks, Alan. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. This is, we can take action on all 5 of these items with one motion, pending there's no discussions. So do I have a motion to approve the 5 items?
Aye.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion by the board? Any discussion by the audience?
I'd like to ask about the New Year's Eve party.
Okay, so we will pull that out then. So hold that?
Yep.
So then, can I get you to modify your,
Yeah, I propose that we pass B, C, D, and E in section 6.
I second that motion.
any discussion now by the board? Any by the audience? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
You can either talk about it first or at the end.
Gonna do it now.
I'm sorry?
We're gonna do it now.
Okay.
All right, so it is yours.
Thank
Do you
very
need the
much.
microphone,
Johnny
Campbell?
Campbell, please, so people on the phone can hear you. So
It's on. It's on.
Yes.
my question about New Year's Eve party is the cost per ticket. I asked Mitch this a week ago about the pricing for children, because I think $35 is a bit expensive for children coming in through who aren't going to get a wine, probably won't eat hors d'oeuvres or anything else, and they'll just run about there. But I don't know, are you going to charge children? Are you going to let children come in for free? Is there going to be an age limit of, say, anyone under the age of 16 is free, over 16 has to pay an annual sum of maybe $10 or whatever?
You want to take it?
Yeah. Yeah, I know they can hear me here, but or maybe not. Thanks, Campbell. We have been back and forth with this. To be honest, I never even thought of kids, but then I don't have any, so ergo, I don't think of them really. Okay. But what we have been discussing this afternoon is that we are aware that it is a community event. And the reason we are doing 2 events this year concurrently is because last year the plaza was chock-a-block. There was no tickets available come New Year's Eve, and a lot of people were disappointed because you do actually get families in, and so a couple that normally might come up to the plaza might end up having 4 or 6 people with them. So all of a sudden, 120 in the plaza, it seems a little when you've got that type of situation. So we decided that we would have 2 concurrent venue or parties, one down at the golf club with a band and a DJ, and then one up here with just a DJ. And so I hadn't thought about kids until somebody mentioned it. As I said, don't have them. So the board and us, we've been discussing this afternoon with the board. So what we've decided is that we're not going to have children up in the plaza. It's a different situation up here at the swimming pools and things like that. But down the golf club, we're going to allow children to come to the party. And what we're saying is we're going to charge $10 per child. Under 16 is $10, and then over 16, they will pay a full price ticket. But it'll only be at the golf club. And they have to be accompanied by an adult. There's no dropping off kids and you going off to your party, because there's a big gator in range. So you don't want us to feed your child to it. So that's what we're planning on doing, and we're trying to accommodate people who want to bring their grandkids or their family that are in, but we also are cognizant of the fact that people that don't have children are paying their and so we're trying to be fair to everybody. But it is a community event, and we really want people to come out and celebrate with us. As everybody knows, it's $35 for the plaza event. It's $35 for the golf club, but for $50 you can have access to both. We've called it the Access All Areas ticket. I'm sitting down with Mitch and James, I think it's tomorrow, and we're going through the specials, the food, and the different things, and we'll have a lot more information out about what's going to happen during the evenings this week. So Event Groove is where you buy the tickets, and as I said, if you want to bring the grandkids, no problem, it's a $10. We'll have to get Mitch to set that up on the Event Groove thing, so give him a day or two, but I'm hoping that will help everybody.
Lisa, quick question.
Well, the question answered as far as I'm concerned.
Plaza, when we say adults, is that 20, 18, 16?
Well, we would have families that would have tweens. So Dawn Buckley is a good example. She's 2 girls, 15, 16. They probably want to get dressed up in sparkles. So I don't think that would be an issue having tweens here. But we're not talking about, 6 and 7 year olds at Plaza.
So are we going to set a formal age or just up to?
Yeah, we set a formal age. I suppose 14 up, 14, 15 and up. I don't know. I said, no kids, need to help there.
So how do we handle the tickets that have already been purchased?
So we're saying now, am I understanding correctly that?
Sorry, say again?
Am I understanding correctly that the proposal is no kids at the plaza?
Well, I don't have a problem. Well, no kiddie kids. That's what Alan was saying.
It's kind of a different event.
It's a different vibe. It's more of a,
adults.
yeah. I would see the golf club as being more of a, relaxed, come in your jeans, flip-flops, whatever. Whereas up here, it's going to be sparkles and high heels, and that's just for the men. So, I don't know. Do you want to put, what?
How many tickets have we sold at the plaza?
Right now, we're at the plaza, we have sold 56 tickets right now at the plaza. The all access is 48 tickets, so that's going to be, you're looking close, over 100, definitely guaranteed for plaza.
And we are not aware of the age groups, because one person will go in and reserve 5 tickets. We don't know the ages of anybody.
Yeah, because I was talking to Dawn today, and she's bought 8 tickets. And I'm sure the 2 of them are for the girls.
Right.
Refunds
They're
them?
16,
Yeah,
aren't
because
they?
I went to a birthday party recently. I
Yeah,
think
so
it's 16
they're
and over.
tweens. I think tweens
Yeah.
are okay up here. They're not going to fall into the pool.
Right,
I mean,
my concern is we've sold these tickets.
Exactly.
If they don't hear of this modification,
Yeah, so we need to
And-
check that. Or do we, I mean,
or why are we limiting it? Like, I mean, we've already put it out there. Like, I mean,
I
how are we,
never even, I hadn't thought about kids until Larry
how
said,
do
do
we pull that back?
you want to let kids up here too?
I don't, seeing we've sold the number of tickets that we already have with, under the premise that anybody can attend up here, I don't think you can say you can't have kids up here.
So, I could get in behind if we did a discounted price at golf, but if you come to the plaza, it stays at the 35.
Well, you're taking a spot at the plaza, which is the thing.
Right, so that's why I'm saying leave them at 35 if you want to bring your,
Yeah.
because anyone who's bought it already
Yeah.
has paid the 35.
Yeah.
That's a good option.
Yeah.
So I think it might be,
Numbers up here.
Yeah, it's more limited here than
Yeah.
it is at the golf.
Yeah, golf club is a big tent. So, we can open the walls and fall out the walls if have to be.
Provided it's not bad weather.
That's true. That's true. But I'm Irish, so I just wear a jumper. Yeah.
okay.
Are we
So,
okay with that?
well, we got to get a motion before we're okay with that.
Why don't
Okay,
you
well, I
motion?
may as well. Okay,
Let's see if you can put-
So just to,
okay.
So we-
I propose that we, for the plaza, we continue as it is, but with no limit on if children want to attend, but they will be paying a full price ticket. For the golf club, children under 16 will pay a $10 ticket, and over 16 will have to pay the $35 or the 50 if they're moving back and forth.
I'll second that motion.
Thank God I don't have to say it again.
Any further discussion by the board?
Okay, are you okay with that?
Any discussion by the audience?
I have the lone voice.
Question over there.
No, you're not the lone voice, honestly.
Why are we even addressing having kids pay? Right? I mean, we could simply say, you need a wristband, get hors d'oeuvres, and get cocktails, right? So obviously, that's there, but I don't think you're gonna have that many kids come.
Well, I think there's a cost, Larry. There's a cost to providing the entertainment, not just the food and drinks.
But see,
There's a cost. We're already losing money on these
and
events.
I get that, but the bottom line
And,
is,
and those kids are taking places of adults who would pay the
if the
$35.
kids don't come, you might lose 6 adults.
Yeah, but for $10, come on.
Well, I'm just saying, there's no benefit for a kid for $10. You're gonna have some hors d'oeuvres, I'm throwing it out there. I don't care, I'll pay for all of it, but it doesn't make sense.
or maybe just a flat 10 for any. So I was just at a Brazilian steakhouse, and the family at the other, they didn't, they bought a salad bar for it, but they kept feeding the kid meat, right? And I could watch the waiter and waitress be like, but you didn't pay for that, but so I mean, I would worry like, if my daughters were there and they were young, I'd be like, have some of mine. Again, we're chasing small amounts here, so I'm not too fussed about it. But, sodas and so maybe $10 too much is
No, it's not.
$5 too,
No.
You're charging the $50 for the adults for both parties.
Mhm.
Is there a number for both parties for the children?
I can't,
Because it'll be $45 if they want two parties.
I think for a lot of the people that are doing both, it's more people that are going to hop in a golf cart and zip down,
Well, I'm
watch the
just saying,
band, and then maybe
there'll
come
be
up here and.
Somebody's gonna come and go to both with the children. Are they gonna pay $45 for the kids?
Well,
They're gonna pay 50 for the adults?
as James said, I believe, you can't, those that have purchased, they've not, or maybe Stephanie said, they're not able to tell what ages it was that they purchased the tickets for. So you can't really say take that method. You can't say it's going to be $45 if you bring a child, because you don't know exactly who's bought what or what their plan was in regards to buying that. So I don't think that can be changed this time.
So I would say the 35 stays the same for the
The plaza.
plaza, the 50 stays the same for
All areas.
both, irrespective of age.
Yep.
And then you've got 35 for
No,
the
10.
golf and
Yeah.
$10 for under 16s at the golf.
Sorry, Tricia.
I know what you're saying, but what age is for children? I mean,
Under
if they're
16.
in the prams, you won't be charging $10 for
I
them
can't imagine,
up
no.
to a certain age, will you? in their
It's
company.
under 3, and it's like Disney.
Yeah, I know, but would you say from 2-year-old to 16? I know, but people will be saying it.
See, at home, we'd never bring a child out on New Year's Eve, but that's just, oh yeah, okay, yeah. I was always left at home.
And maybe
Yeah.
3 and under are free.
I say, go to the Disney model.
Okay, so we need to amend that.
That's
Do
okay.
I have to say it all again?
But I don't like
Further modification.
further modification. So it's a motion for the pricing of the 2 events. Plaza is $35 irrespective of age. Golf is $35 for adults over 16 and over. Children from 3 to 16 are $10. Under 3 and under are free. And for the combined ticket, it's $50. Did I get it?
Yeah,
Did I get
yeah,
it?
you did. Much better than me. It's grand.
I need a second though.
Yeah, I second it.
I want to add something
Oh,
to that though.
no.
Well, but if somebody's already bought their ticket and they are 15 years old and they paid $35 to go to golf,
I think they should.
and we are now doing it for 10, they get a refund.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
it's
okay.
only fair. It's
All right.
only fair.
And anybody who's already purchased a child ticket for the golf and is under 16 years old will get a refund of $25.
Yeah. Is that possible on Eventproof?
It's not necessarily possible for me to do anything like that on Event Group. But I will reach out to the people within golf that have purchased the tickets with golf. I'll figure it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there has to be some way we can put it back in their plaza account or something.
Thank you, Mitch.
Figure it out.
Bob?
Sorry to put a point on it, but you said 16 twice. Is it 3 to 15?
It is 3 to 15, 16 and over is adult.
It'd be 4 to 15.
So 4 to 15.
So 4 to 15.
4 to 50.
4 to 15.
It's like Disney, you can
Okay,
be three
sorry.
twice.
Okay, are we good now? This is the easy one.
Kid, so,
All those in favour?
Aye.
That's your turn.
Yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Okay,
Passed unanimously.
thanks Campbell for
What?
bringing that up. No, I mean,
That's good, yeah.
it's something we hadn't covered.
No, we never even thought of it, honestly. Never even done. See, yeah, no kids, so, yeah.
You'll probably end up losing.
Okay, we're moving on.
$10. I would be very surprised.
We good?
Okay. If somebody needs $10,
Right.
I'd love them.
So the next item on the agenda is new business, and we are dealing now with accounts going for the January 8th Covenants Committee. We have 2. Can I have a recommendation or a motion? Yeah, I'm so confused with this child thing. Can we have a motion to send these 2 to Covenants, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion by the board? Okay, any discussion by the audience? They are.
Yes.
2 different events,
1 home, 2 violations.
and you've seen them before. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously. The next item on the agenda is the pool equipment proposal. Stephanie?
Thank you, James. This is for the cat controllers, spinners, and tanks for the pool equipment. So at the last board meeting, I was asked to obtain additional proposals for this, which I have now done. A little backstory, none of the Country Club at Champions Gate pools, both Plaza pools, the spa, and the North Pool are equipped with cat controllers, center pumps, or chemical tanks. A cat controller interprets the pool chemical readings, creating a digital report and signals the chemical feeders to adjust automatically pool chemicals to ensure that they are always at their proper levels. After discussions with our attorney who is leading the 558 lawsuit against Lennar, they recommended that we obtain these proposals because they firmly feel that while not mandatory to have this equipment on our pools, it is normal and best practice to do so. And they believe that we have a strong case for this, because our pools were not equipped properly with the proper equipment. As Central Florida Pools is currently reading and adjusting the chemicals manually, many companies require the use of CAT controllers to operate. For example, the prior pool company that we had cleaning our pools required them. So as part of their contract, we were renting the equipment. At this time, our current company has the means of doing this job manually. But if we're ever to go our separate ways from Central Florida Pools, we may run into a situation where we are forced to rent or buy the equipment, or we would need to find another company that offers manual readings and chemical adjusting. With that being said, the original proposal I received was from Central Florida Pools, our current pool contractor. I also obtained proposals from Spees Pools, who originally declined a purchase option for us, but then offered one after being asked again. I was very persistent with them. I also engaged My Pool Repairs. My Pool Repairs came in at the highest cost, with Spees and Central Florida Pools at the same exact cost, a cost of $19,000. We are still recommending to move forward with Central Florida Pools, as we already have a good working relationship with them, and they would be the ones maintaining the equipment. The equipment does require regular preventative maintenance, which would all be included in the current cleaning contract that we pay. There's also a 2-year warranty on parts and labor. At the last board meeting, the question was asked about paying a lower monthly cost, since they would not be doing everything manually. The $4,500 that we pay monthly includes 5 days of cleaning a week, but also reading the daily chemical reports and logging them, and still filling up tanks with chemicals and making adjustments as needed to the tanks. So the workload is simply changing in the actual actions that they are performing, but there is still some labor-intensive work in the job. So at this time, we are recommending to move forward with the Central Florida Pools proposal for $19,000.
Okay, thanks, Stephanie. May I have a motion to move forward with Central Florida Pools proposal?
I'll motion that we move forward with Central Florida Pool proposal at $19,000.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion by the board?
I just don't like Central Florida Pool and Spas.
What's that?
Sorry?
But yeah, no, it's fine.
You're good?
Yep.
Okay, any discussion by the audience?
It's 19,000 a year?
One time.
One time.
No, one time.
One time.
That's what all three pools?
Yes, it's for all three. It's for the 2 pools and the spa and the pool in North Pool. So 3 pools and a spa. I'm sorry?
What was the price of the other one?
I believe 23,000.
Was there a spec document that was given to all the suppliers? Did everybody get the same spec?
They did.
Any other questions?
So in other words, we're gonna spend $19,000 and there's no advantage, so why spend money?
So it's a best practice that our 558 lawyer, Kalen, recommended. So from our lenses, the annual cost doesn't change. It is a $19,000 outlay. However, at some point, we do have to listen to our attorneys when they do tell us what is sort of the best practices and to follow. Now, can we get, it will be part of the, it is already part of the claim, yes. Right?
And the other thing, sorry, I'd look at it as a safety, like you can still do it manually, but if you have the computer doing it automatically and somebody checking it, it's likely a little bit better. The other thing that I found interesting was we have a public pool license, and if you look at some of the statutes, you're required to have these. For some reason, Osceola has a carve out that says you're not required in Osceola, but everywhere else it seems like you are required. So to me, it looks like it's best practice, lawyer recommended, safety, and if we try to change our pool company, we'd probably have them tell us, other companies say we wouldn't, service that without this. So we'd just be delaying the spending a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, but.
Question. So you only did 2 bids?
Three.
Great.
What was the third?
Spies.
Central Florida Pools and Spees both came in at 19,000. And then my pool repairs came in at 23.
So Central Florida came in a little higher, but they matched fees, right?
Correct.
So,
Seems like a lot. Seems like there should have been some negotiation. It seems like a lot of money.
So they did originally come in higher, like Alan said, and they were willing to match what Spies came in at 19. But yes, it is a big expense. It's a lot of equipment.
You actually have a chart of anything that they're going to be doing for this?
Do I have a chart of what?
What they're actually going to be doing for us?
With the installation?
Installation, upkeep, everything they're going to be doing to provide.
Yeah, they have a
service for
whole,
$19,000.
yes, they have so the preventative maintenance and all of the maintenance on the equipment is included in their already $4,500 that we pay them monthly.
Can we see that?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's connected.
I don't have it right now. It's on Connect. The contract is on Connect. I mean, I can provide it to you. But I don't have their contract on me right now, but it is available on Connect for all residents to see.
It seems like an awful lot.
I'm sorry?
It seems like an awful lot of money.
I mean, all three came in at around the same price, so that tells us that it's about the same. I mean, it's 4 different cat controllers for 4 different bodies of water.
And there's most of their storage tanks too, right?
And the storage tanks, the Stenner pumps, the feeders, the whole kit.
But if we're not doing it now, we haven't done it for how long? Why are we doing it? Why are we spending $19,000 if it's not even required?
So this goes back to,
So that's what I just explained in the opening statement. So this is part of our 558 with Lennar, and our defect attorney is recommending that we do this. So they recommended that we get proposals for this. So that's what I did. I provided them to the board, and it's up to them to make the decision whether or not we want to move forward with this. But we are recommending it because it is a best practice.
any further?
We had it previously just on a rental basis. So we've been like a year or two, however long we've been in Central Florida pools, because Spies basically came and pulled their equipment out.
Correct.
So we're going back to where we were originally.
And what would happen if this company pulled out?
Well, this is bought equipment that was leased. Yes. So this is basically, think of it as a hardware purchase, right? It's equipment that's going to stay, that we're going to own.
All right. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? Next item on the agenda is the Tiki Hut rethatching. Stephanie?
Thank you, James. So we have a tiki hut at the North Pool area that has a thatched roof. Due to the last few storms that we've had, the thatched roof is starting to show some wear and tear. There are some various holes in it. I've provided photos in the packet there. You can see there are some holes. And it's just overall just looking a bit old. It's never been replaced. So I obtained 3 proposals from various tiki hut companies to rethatch our tiki hut, the roof. So just a little bit of detail. There are a lot of companies that do tiki hut rethatching. Who knew? It is done with real palm fronds and pressured wood. There was also an option to do synthetic thatching, which was a lot more expensive, but it does come with a 20-year warranty. But all of the companies that I engaged, they also will remove and dispose of all the old thatching and make sure that the new thatching is installed properly. A fun fact, the fronds are actually installed while they are green. So we'll have a nice, vibrantly green roof for about a week, and then it will turn its normal brown. But I engaged 3 companies, Sunshine Tiki Huts, Suncoast Tiki Huts, and Ronnie's Chicky Huts. Again, big business, who knew? We are recommending to move forward with Sunshine Tiki Huts. The cost is $5,850. And it does come with a 5-year warranty. So that is not, it does not include natural disasters. So if like a tornado came through or a hurricane and the tiki hut blew down, that's not included, but normal wear and tear is included. So if nothing happens and it, gets a hole just from like regular wear and tear in the next 5 years, it will be replaced free of charge under warranty. We are moving forward, recommending to move forward with Sunshine Tiki Huts.
Okay, thanks, Stephanie. May I have a motion to move forward and accept the quote from Sunshine Tiki Huts?
Yeah, I propose that.
Okay, I'll second.
Any discussion by the board?
Have we ever used this company in the past? Do we know anything about them?
So we know, because we've never had to actually do this before. But I did engage with several other First Service residential communities, and they were a company that was recommended. Actually, the Sunshine Tiki Huts and Ronnie's Chicky Huts were both recommended by other managers with First Service. And just from my conversation with Sunshine Tiki Huts, their responsiveness is why I'm recommending them. So, but they all have stellar reviews. So,
Do we have a storm fund? Could this come out of the storm fund?
Well, we put 10,000 for hurricane recovery kind of things.
Yeah.
We have some of that left.
I know it's like a rainy day.
I mean, technically the Tiki Hut's in the reserve funding too, but it's supposed to be done for another 10, 12 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm just wondering if we use the
So we
storm fund.
could go either way.
Yeah,
One is operating, one is reserves.
yeah.
I don't think we use the reserves for anything less than 10,000.
Oh, yeah, I think we did set that back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this would be operating.
Yeah.
We can put that, yeah.
Oh, look, if there was a storm fund and we had some left over, rainy day, literally is, we need to do it in case of rainy day.
I mean, the warranties, I don't give a lot of credence to warranty because no natural disaster, like, it's not going to just fall apart, I would hope.
Warranty's not worth it.
So, but every one does not include natural disaster, does not include natural, so it's like.
Is there signs of any other damage or wear and tear or anything on the structure itself?
no, the structure is in good condition. It's just the actual thatching.
It's like the shingles on a roof.
Yeah.
I know people wired them that can come over and do that.
That's a different kind of thatching, though. I don't know if that's palm tree.
They'd even do it with a nice pattern. Yeah.
So when we
And
look,
those would last, actually.
when we look at this, the three quotes, just so we can put some numbers to this, the 5850 is what is Sunshine.
Recommended.
6528 is from Ronnie's, and then 11,250 from Suncoast. So it is the lowest of the three quotes.
It is, and I think that the difference in cost of Suncoast Tiki Huts, why it was so much more expensive, is they only work with sable palm thatching. It's the only thing I could find. Because the other two, so this would be thatched with palmetto palm.
Do we know what it's currently thatched with?
I do not.
I have no idea what the difference between them.
I don't.
The Indian.
Any further discussion by the board? Any discussion by the audience?
You know, if they have any kind of flame retardant that they put on it, keep it from fire.
So you asked about flame retardant. So they do, it is an additional cost, but it is something that they can come out and do regularly, either quarterly, biannually.
I suggest that you do it.
Yeah,
Do we know the cost of that?
I don't.
Do we know if it currently has it?
I mean,
It was Lennar.
it's not
We have
been,
no
no.
documentation. Okay.
I will.
Could they tell? Probably not, right?
No.
That sounds like something you can add on after. Like-
Yeah, it is, all three companies offer the service at an additional cost. I just,
Good.
One thing.
All right, any other questions? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. All right, next on the agenda, pickleball windscreen proposals. Stephanie.
thank you, Jane. So a little bit of a background, the windscreens of the pickleball court are starting to show wear and tear, with a few of them being heavily frayed. We would like to have these replaced with new windscreens that also have the intentional half moon cutouts in them. Right now, well, we actually have the windscreens down because we took them down for hurricane season, but they did have some makeshift moon cutouts in them. So, but these ones would have the intentional cutouts and look much nicer. So these proposals, I will tell you, were very difficult to obtain. There must be a new industry standard where sports court vendors refuse to come out to property unless awarded the project ahead of time. Not a single vendor that I contacted agreed to come out to property to measure the courts for us and would only provide a proposal based on our measurements that we provide. They all said that they would only come out if paid ahead of time, except for the two that I have proposals from. Additionally, several vendors turned us down right off the bat because we only have one court, or they denied the project due to having no availability well into 2025. I was able to have one independent contractor come to property to do the measuring for us, who has done other work around the community for the association. I provided his measurements to all of the court vendors and still only received one additional proposal back. So for this, I do have only two proposals. I have DO Construction, and I have a proposal from Nitty Sports, not Nitty. I thought it was Nitty. It's Nitty. I also engaged Welch Tennis, Ace Courts, Varsity Courts, and Coastal Courts, and none of them were able to provide us proposals, either based on not having any availability well into 2025, project was too small, followed up with no response, and project was too small. So I do have the two proposals. We are recommending to move forward with DO Construction simply because they took the time to come out, measure the courts. We know that, they're going to take responsibility if for some reason the measurement was not right. Like, he knows he measured it, so he's going to do the project in its entirety. It is slightly more expensive than the Nitty Sports proposal, but again, he's the one who took the time to come out and take the measurements for us. He put eyes on the project. Nitty Sports did not. With that being said, the cost for 300 linear feet of green 6-foot windscreen with the half moon cutouts is $3,975, and that is for them to come and install it. They also are offering an optional customization where we can add the Champions Gate logo on one panel, and that would be an additional $957. The Nitty Sports proposal came in at $3,800, so it's not that much less expensive than DO Construction. So we are recommending to move forward with DO Construction for this project. I don't.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Yep.
So may I have a motion to move forward with DO Construction for $3,975?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion by the board?
Yeah, I don't play pickleball, but it's for the pickleball players here, because I know there's two of them here. Is that the half moon and all that sort of stuff? That's all.
That's standard, yeah.
Like.
We need to be able to through them, so. Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, right, okay.
But you don't need the Champions Gate logo.
No, we don't need that logo.
No, we didn't.
No.
I mean, it'd be nice, but we're not going to pay $100,000 for
No.
them, because that will be the one that the hurricane will take out. I
Yeah,
guarantee you.
yeah.
The other ones will be fine. That one will be the one that goes.
I was about to say it would look nice, bearing in mind it's at the plaza.
I do have our turn yet.
No, not yet. Any further discussion by the board?
No, it is.
I have.
Any discussion by the audience?
Do you go out, I mean, we are from England, do you go out and have a look at what they have done to see if it's up to your satisfaction?
Absolutely, yeah, we do.
Contract. Have you been to see what they have done?
Yes, so, yes, I have.
Because they've done work.
They've done work for, well, this company in particular, DO Construction. I mean, I've not seen their windscreen work, but they've done other work for us in the community of various projects, and they always do a very good job, and no matter what they're working on. Regarding the other vendors as well, I can speak to Nitty Sports. They do a good job. I've worked with them in previous communities. Their specialty is building ports and doing windscreens and anything sport port construction related.
Mark, did you have a question?
No, go ahead. I noticed that when there's a hurricane coming or whatever, you take these windscreens down. Could it be easy to take these down and put them back up, or do they use wire, or is it permanently up there?
What are the fasteners?
No, so we're exploring the option of different types of fasteners. I know right now we're talking about either the stainless steel zip ties, which can be easily cut off, but they also don't ruin the grommets that they go through. Because right now, one of the issues that we're having is using the plastic zip ties. They're ruining the windscreens, and they just break in high winds. Another option that we have is like a bungee cord with a ball on the end, which are pretty easy to remove as well. So, but I mean, our maintenance teams do it. They have it down to a science, taking those windscreens down. So, but yeah, I mean, it is customary to take them down at the start of hurricane season and putting them back up at the end. Because it is a lot of work to do it in between storms.
Well, you're actually taking them down right before the storm.
Right.
Yes.
And putting them back up.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
For the entire hurricane season.
Yeah.
Correct.
I mean, we had some back-to-backs, so, and we knew we were gonna try to replace them, so we just made the decision not to put them back up.
Yeah, and so getting back to the fasteners, it's the nylon and the plastic ones break.
Break all the
Correct.
time. The heat kills them.
Yeah, exactly.
And the other thing is, the maintenance guy should definitely watch when they install it,
Yeah.
because the key is really taut.
Yeah.
In other words, so the problem is if we take them down and put them back up, you got to make sure they go back up as good as right.
Exactly.
Because if there's any, flex in there, the wind just takes that in. I mean, the first hurricane, the first year we were down here, the first hurricane, I can't remember which one it was, Irma maybe, but it literally took out every screen in the tennis court, every single one, gone. And I don't know if they've ever been replaced. No.
Have we ever lost screens here for that?
We have lost screens in high winds, yeah. The grommets pull out or the zip ties, yeah.
So should we be getting a maintenance cost for these folks to put them back up? We don't need them to take it down. But if we take it down for a hurricane, should we be looking at them putting it back up?
The contractor?
Yeah, depending on what the price is.
I mean, we can ask, right now our maintenance team is doing it, but.
Yeah, it's not hard, you just gotta make sure you pull it taut when you do it, the zip ties or the bungees or whatever.
Gotcha.
Again, they just.
Team and Mitch.
And Mitch,
Mitch.
yes. I think I.
Any other,
there
That was a hot day.
I forgot.
any other questions?
I do have just a question. In regards to, I know you have to take them down in high winds, but is there an option to roll them up to where you don't have to take them fully down? That way, at least you have it started, it's, where it's actually situated.
I don't know if that exists or not, but it's.
Someone did bring that option up to me once about that, just rolling them up, zip tying them and keeping them through the hurricane. I don't know what that looks like.
Roll them up to the top.
Yeah, and then roll them down to the bottom,
And
one
then
or
you
the
just cut
other.
the
but-
zip tie. I don't follow that.
I've never seen that.
I've never seen that done, but, in
I don't
theory,
remember who brought it up to me either, otherwise
You could have.
Something Stephanie will
if
explore.
we get it wrong, that'll hurt them.
Yeah.
Explore it, Stephanie. Any more?
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should get a Shark Tank.
I get
All
zero
right,
for it.
John, any other questions on that?
Nope.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passed unanimously. We're just speeding right along here. Next item on the agenda is the rescinding of the blanket approval for the golf beautification projects. So in terms of background on this, going back to 4 boards ago and the transition to 3 boards ago, there became a little bit of confusion about a list of 30 projects. And at that point in time, what was proposed was the 30 projects looking for approval from the board of whether or not to proceed. The approval from the board appears to have been that those 30 projects were approved and welcomed projects, not that they were approved to actually go and implement. The notion was that each project would then come back to the board for approval based on the costing, what it is, what the status of all other projects in beautification were. So we have spoken to beautification. We want to sort of clarify this and rescind that 30 approval, which I'm not really sure we actually gave, but at that point, we can then approve projects on a per basis. So may I have a motion to rescind the 30 projects?
I motion to rescind 30 projects, beautification on the Gulf.
Second?
Second.
Discussion by the board. Discussion by the audience.
James, what does that actually mean? Just to circle back to the beginning of the beautification 30 project deal. When we did that, we just did the whole golf course. We walked hole by hole and we put a wish list together.
Yep.
And they were kind of listed out, like, because we did a survey amongst the team and what, we kind of knew that it all had to come as we moved forward. It was just never documented, if you will.
No.
So that's where the genesis of all that. Not
Right.
necessarily number one was going to get done first.
That's right.
3, 4, 5, 6, but it was in the best interest for that to happen. But it was a hell of a lot more money to get number one done. So that was how that all started.
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah, Robin, basically, on the beautification team, we had the list, so we didn't need to go to the board to say we're going to do the work on 15. So we could just proceed. We'd let the board know, but we could just proceed. But now, all that approval is now going to be, because there was some confusion as to whether we actually had the approval or not. So now what's happening is that all that blanket approval is being rescinded. So it's a case of the beautification team can't just go ahead and say we're going to start working on 16 the next time we want to do some work. And instead, the beautification team through me will come to the board, because I'm the liaison on the board, on the team, and present the work. So for instance, just say we wanted to do something on 17. Well, then Darren and the team, and some of them are here tonight, will actually make a proposal to the board, and then the board then will vote on it.
Where does the finances start?
Well, the beautification team, when you played in the Holiday Scramble, that's all, that money, every dollar that we raise, that apart from what we had cost for the food and things.
Supposing that the next project costs, as a number, just for an example,
Okay.
$20,000.
Right, well.
The beautification raised $20,000. What happens if they say no?
Well, they say no, we have to look at the next job.
$20,000 comes back?
No, we just move to the next project. So for instance.
Well then, why bother putting that into beautification that's not authorised before you start?
Well,
otherwise, it's the wrong way of it.
Normally what we do is we'll sit down and we'll have a look at we still have a list. And we'll look at the list and we'll say, right, this list is going to, this particular job, say on 17, just say is going to cost $15,000. And we would have $15,000 in the pot. So we would go out and, talk to the team, and then we present it to the board. But unless the board says, yay, we don't do it, then we'd have to move to the next one. So for instance.
And the money that's been raised for the beautification is for general beautification.
Yeah.
It's not for specific projects listed. It's raising money for beautification, and then the beautification team decide what projects they want, and then it comes to the board for the board to say, yeah, we like that one, we don't like that one.
Like we had a great idea, we were going to do something on 18 with a nice water feature in front of the water and everything. We found out how much it was going to cost. That one got kicked to touch very quick. So we are very sensible with our money that we raise, because it is all raised from the homeowners. But like that, we just can't go out willy-nilly and start doing things on the golf course.
And Robin, just so you know, the beautification team is very well aware how much money we have. So we're out assessing projects we present to the board. And like you say, if we raise $17,000, we're going to come up with a project that's going to be under $17,000.
Yeah.
And it's up to the board to make any of those decisions, actually, when it takes place and here's the money.
Yeah. You can't just go out and start planting things on the golf course.
I have 2 questions. One is, have you done any of the 30 yet?
Oh, yeah. Well, you've
Quite a few.
a good few of them.
How many
Yeah.
is that? How many have you done? 5, 7?
God. In the last year, we've done 15, 18, and 10.
You only stopped at maybe 15?
No, I'm only on the team since we started doing 15. And then we've done the area around 18 and the 10 tee box.
Well, the blanket was for 30 projects. The blanket, go ahead and do it.
Yes.
So how many have you done? So you're saying, okay, you've done those, now you only have 20 left, we would say no for those 20.
Larry's been in this since the
When we
beginning.
did we do that whole list was to be very clear.
Yeah.
Right? It was just more or less us.
It was like a wish list.
Right. That we can present to the board if things come up.
Wait, and the other part of my question is, the golf club has a temporary tent now. And it's a project to make it permanent. Does that come under the beautification?
No, that'd be
It
capital.
isn't, but we went out and we priced some things to create, we were looking at those sailcloth things to build off of the patio. And we were gonna try to work towards that until we realized, boy, it's gonna take 3 years to get enough money to do that. And then you take a look at what we really need down there is a bigger facility, but we all know that we don't have $1.5 million sitting in the bank to build it. So, and I will tell you, there's members of the beautification committee. If the money started going in other directions, you have to get more volunteers to take over. I'm not just saying that to be mean.
I understand what you're saying.
But the bottom line is, the intention of the beautification was always to improve the golf course. Not capital expenditure.
I understand. So the tent is not permanent. You only have a permit for it to be temporary, right?
James?
Yes.
Yes. So you're gonna have to do something soon, and the tent's coming down.
Or we just
renew the
Permit.
permit every 90 days or something. But yeah, I mean, in theory, the county could say no at some point.
They said no last time.
Well, there was a liquor license that was tied to it, and there was
More of a
it was
location.
too close in how it was set up, right?
We were not in compliance.
Yeah.
Correct.
So,
What I'm just saying is, it's something you're gonna have to do.
right, but right now, what we're really looking at is the rescinding of the 30. That is
Whatever's left.
yes, or whatever is
26.
left. But that is an issue.
Part of the beautification. I mean, the events and the policy.
Here. They're having a hard time here.
But if you look into the future, surely.
Hang on, sorry, Robin.
We're trying to raise $20,000, yeah, for whatever our next project may be, for the golf course on the neck. Surely that you need to identify what that project is and what you're aiming to achieve, and somewhere that project has got good tentative approval. It seems like we're just shooting in the blind, like, let's have an event, let's raise some money, and then we'll do something.
Now, Robin, to answer that question, you're absolutely right.
Give him the mic.
Yeah, guys, they're having a hard time hearing you guys.
To answer that question, Robin, you're spot on, okay? But at the beginning, I guess we weren't as cohesive between the committee and the board as we should have been. However, county-wise and everything, every penny is looked after. But now I think we're on the path of a proposal going to the board and then the board approving it and digging into it. So moving forward, that'll probably be the case, or it has to be the case.
Yep.
Does that kind of answer your question?
Well, sort of just, yeah, I guess it was.
So Robin, the piece that you're missing, right, is the beautification group really does email us or informs us of what their intentions are on a going forward basis. So we know in advance, are we priced out definitively? Are we completely aligned? Possibly not, right? Sometimes some of those projects do take on a life of their own and expand unintendedly. And so we kind of want to just get a little bit more control on that. Is there any other questions? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. To your answer, your quick next one. Next on the agenda is the golf beautification requests. Lisa.
Can everybody hear me, or do I need the microphone?
Use the mic.
I'd microphone, I suppose, is probably easier. For those who don't know, I came off the beautification team when I came on the board, and I'm now the liaison with the board to the beautification team. So I still sit and do all the work with the team, but I am not on the team. So the team have given me a list today to present to the board with regard to some work that we would like to have done. There has been some changes with our project in the last couple of weeks. Our current beautification balance is $31,533.26. So that's the money we have to play with at the moment. I will say, just as an aside, thank you all for supporting the Snow Holiday Scramble. It was fantastic. We really appreciate how everybody bails in and has a good time, but supports the community. It's fantastic. So there are a number of projects that are unfinished due to certain circumstances. What we have done is we have a proposal for completion of some of these projects, and that we would like the board to look at it. I will say these were not projects. Most of these projects were not beautification projects. They were started by a vendor and not completed, but in the spirit of making sure that the golf course looks the way it should, we would like the beautification funds to be used to finish these projects. Number one, we would like to complete the ground levelling, the grasscaping and mulching behind the hole number 10 tee box. And we would like Ethan to talk to Ethan about purchasing the mulch, completing this work using the ground crew staff. The cost of the mulch and any hours, including overtime hours, etc., will be paid for via the account transfer from the golf beautification funds. Number two, we would like to add 3 additional sable pans to the far end of the project area west of the hole 18 green and south of the 10 tee box. These will be inserted amongst the black diamond crepe myrtles that are there. We need to complete laying sod for the entire area with mulch around the trees as needed. Again, we'll be asking Ethan to purchase the tree sod and mulch and complete this work using the current ground crew staff. Cost of trees, mulch and any hours, including overtime hours, will be paid for via account transfer from golf beautification funds. Just we want to make a note that the beautification team brought before the board a project for just a portion of that area, and that area was completed as required. This is additional. In the cleared ground to the north of number 10 Ladies Tee, the original plan was to mirror the large project across from it. To make it more pleasing aesthetically and also better maintenance for Ethan's, we want to place 2 foxtail palms there with mulch surrounding the base of each tree and sod the rest of the area. Again, as with the last couple, we'll be asking Ethan and then paying from golf transfer, the beautification funds. The following project is a beautification project that was started and undertaken when we had approval. It is unfinished and we would like it to be finished. The project area lies between the 2 cart paths from the area to the south of the bridge on Bellasita to the makeshift cart drive-through behind hole number 9 white tee box. Along the narrow portion between the 2 cart paths, we want to plant a variegated liriope plants. My Latin is not good. Where the area widens near Bellasita, we would like to plant 5 red rocket crepe myrtle trees, and we would like to mulch the entire area to create an attractive ground cover. Again, we will be talking to Ethan, and then he will be paid from the golf beautification funds. The next project is proposed to be completed in the spring summer of 2025. We are removing the CG landscaping in front of the hole 15 tee box. It recently had the weeds pulled and was trimmed up so it'll look okay throughout the hard growing season winter months. However, in the summer and the winter, in the spring and the summer, the landscaping and weeds grow quickly and become difficult to maintain. So this is causing a problem for Ethan and his crew, and we try to do everything to work with Ethan because we do appreciate what he does. It turns out that Lennar put that there because they wanted the view to look good from the Oasis Club. And full disclosure, I live on 15, I love that view. But if it's hard for Ethan, well then that's something that, we just have to bear that in mind. Again, cost of the trees, sod, mulch, including overtime hours, will be paid from golf beautification funds. If these approaches are acceptable to the board and Ethan, the beautification team will work to obtain projected pricing, including delivery of products from local nursery provider, etc. We assume that Ethan has contracts in place or preferred suppliers for mulch, sod, shrubs and trees, and we would be in favour of using those vendors going forward. And that's it from the golf beautification team.
Okay, thanks, Lisa. So may I have a motion to approve 5 items as presented by Lisa?
So moved.
Second? It's the only way we can discuss it.
I'll second.
Excellent. Discussion by the board.
So Lisa, one thing at the very bottom, if Ethan is not available or not able, United is the next.
We'll have to talk to them.
Okay.
We would prefer to deal with Ethan on the golf course.
Yep.
I guess my only question is around 5 about removing the CG landscaping.
Yeah.
I think that's it's an iconic
Oh, it is, yeah.
piece of,
It's a signature
our
hole.
golf course. I'm not sure we want to remove that, do we?
When Ethan,
Well.
sorry, hang on, Larry.
Hang on, Larry. We're not to you yet.
Oh, not yet.
This is us. This is the board conversation.
Sorry.
You
Sorry.
get your chance, Larry.
I will let Larry, because that was before I sort of got really involved. But yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. But what Ethan is saying is that it's a lot of extra work for the guys, especially if it was this time of the year, it's not so bad. But when you're in this height of spring and summer and the growth is just crazy, it literally is, it's a full-time job just trying to keep that one looking right. Like, we did tidy it up this year. We took all the weeds out. We've made the stones and that. I mean, if it's something that the board wants to go back and talk to them about, we can.
But he's not going to be able to put trees in there
No,
because
it's
it's in
not.
front of
Yeah,
the tee box.
it's on the hill. So I think what they're going to do is just cover it over and maybe make some sort of pretty grass.
So it's
Yeah.
going to be a fairway or rough or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, look, that's my view. Don't forget, I live there.
My question on 5 is, this is 6 months from now,
Yeah.
and we don't know how the 4 projects, how much cost of that 31,000 and change we're going to consume in the 4.
We're hoping
Like,
that it,
we don't need to look at 5 until
no,
May.
no. And at that stage, we'll have our Memorial
We'll have
Day.
an better idea of what financing is available, and then we have a little bit longer to decide whether or not this actually.
And we can
makes sense.
we can go back to Ethan
And we
and
have Ethan
what would
talk to it.
suggest, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Say like, well, what is the issue or how hard is it to maintain, or is there a simpler
Maybe we can.
Okay, so we penned 5.
table 5?
Hang on. Oh, yes.
What we have seen with Trump is
We have a total of 31,533, but we don't have numbers for the other 4. So are they in order? So if we have,
Yeah, some of the work that was started, we need to get it tidied up because it doesn't look good.
right, so what I mean.
We weren't initially going to be spending money doing that, but it's something that we want to get sorted.
Right, so but what I mean from that though is if we have 31,000 and change available and item 1 takes half of it, we might not have enough left to do the other 3. So are we going 1, 2, 3, 4?
Yeah, we're going in order, but Darren has the numbers. So
Okay,
again, a lot of it is going to depend on what sort of deals Ethan can get.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Right,
It's new suppliers, so it's different.
okay,
But yeah, I mean, we're not going to run before we can walk.
okay. Any other discussion?
I have a question.
Yeah.
First, let me say I'm in full support of what the beautification team has done, and but I can talk on that. Thank you. First, let me say I'm in full support of what the beautification team has done and the work that's been done over the years, and I support it 100%. My question ends up being is, as we're adding these new products and so forth, for instance, we're adding mulch, et cetera, from number 10, mulch only lasts so long and it starts to look terrible really quick within a year typically. Are we going to be funding or have the funds available, or are we budgeting the funds to be able to replace that mulch regularly? Because as you look through the course itself, you can see a lot of areas where it's been removed now, and the mulch that was there was gray, and it was not attractive at all.
Unless we look at alternatives to mulch.
I think it's great.
Sod around it, or you-
But once we do it, we need to keep it up.
Yeah.
And we need to keep it looking good. Otherwise, what's the sense of doing it in the first place?
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah,
So we're looking then at a tie back into Ethan's budget, potential increase on mulch. Or
Yeah, I mean,
other items.
ultimately, that should come back to the HOA to cover.
Right, this is some of the conversation in the summer we had with Ethan about as we do these projects, the cheapest part of them is the actual funding. The ongoing maintenance and the labor costs, et cetera, that it's attached to it. What is that? And it's that now we're wanting to loop back in how much that projection out of what that's going to cost us to make sure that we are prepared for that.
Right. And, there's other options besides mulch as well. I mean, you have pine straw, which is usually less expensive than mulch itself. It
Looks
does
better.
degrade and it does get discolor, but it's easier to replace in most cases. The other one is gravel, which is more expensive, but it becomes more permanent. The other thing about gravel though is in the hot weather, it attracts heat.
I think they're testing gravel on 14T by the
I did see some.
Walmart. See how that goes, is what I think they're doing.
Oh, I saw that.
Those are my concerns, my recommendations. We need to maintain it after they're put in.
As a
And it
team-
needs to be our responsibility.
As a team, we work very closely to make sure that what we do works with Ethan, because we're very cognizant of the fact that it's Ethan that's doing the work. So we are always very careful that whatever we do has to.
Okay, any more discussion by the board?
Larry?
Larry, you were.
That's the one.
I think everybody can agree that every single project that has been done on the golf course has been coordinated through Ethan, and it's helped him by, taking out the sawgrass, stuff like that, getting rid of the rat infestation and everything. But Ethan is the first guy we go to before we even talk about anything. And it all has to do with how easy it's going to make his job. Like, for instance, in front of 15, once that's gone, they don't have to stop with the mower. They're just going to keep going, right through it. And that's, he was the one that really wanted under. He hates that. So, but as far as the mulch, perhaps maybe every year we put aside I don't know what the cost of mulch is, but throw a number out, maybe we put $5,000 just for mulch or something out of the beautification funds.
Pine straw is a good option too. We use that in Highlands, yeah.
My question is, if we're using Ethan on these projects, presumably there's no labor charge.
No, there will be a labour charge.
So why does that, we're already paying their salaries?
Well, this is additional,
I mean, they're working overtime.
They'd be overtime.
Yeah, yeah.
Our anticipation is they would be overtime.
Time, yeah.
Marilyn.
I think we need to be careful. We have
Marilyn, you're good. I was just letting them know.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Just looking at you thinking,
I
geez, look at your
apologize
eyes.
if
Yeah.
I duplicate anything. I've listened to just the last little bit. I mean, the beautification has done some terrific work. And they put a lot of time and effort in. I will highlight that part of the ongoing fundraisers for beautification was to also include the plaza. So I've just potentially share that, we go to the trough twice a year. Maybe it doesn't have to always be the golf course, because there's a community that's got other things
There is
here as well.
there is a plaza beautification team.
Yes, but the agreement on the beautification that was approved by a previous board included not just the golf course, that it had to also consider the plaza. That's all I'm saying. But second, I hear you, Larry. Second of all, I think it's probably time we need to evaluate the sizing of Ethan's staff, because we have put so much additional work out there with the beautification that it's probably time that he needs some extra staff. And I know he usually tries to run short of his complement because he does an outstanding job, but maybe it's time to give him some more people.
Thanks, Marlon.
In response to Marilyn, I would just tell you, the beautification team from the beginning has had this conversation, and I think you'll probably lose people from the beautification team if you pull away from the golf course. And anybody else can come in and take it over, that's fine. But I think with the hours and time put in, that was the beginning of it, that was our thought, it was approved by the board, and I know what you're saying, but at the end of the day, if it's gonna go in another direction, that's fine, we can take another group of people and come in to run it.
Well, then I would suggest that they need to disclose. You need to disclose what the money is going towards, because I asked the question at a board meeting and I didn't get an answer for the last fundraiser. And so there was never a disclosure to what the proceeds were going to. Prior to that, it was the clock, it was the memorial garden, it was like specific things. And it started out as enhancing the trees.
Can I just say that there is a group that are, that do the plaza beautification. They've done a couple of fundraisers. I am going to be the liaison with them this year now on the board, and we'll be making it a little bit more structured like we did with the golf. So I would be expecting that there'll be more events held that specifically are for the plaza. And that's the way I would see it. But yeah, there is actually, I mean, there's funds there for the plaza beautification. We're going to discuss that now. But the golf and the plaza beautification teams are different. And there's different people that go to the plaza and different people that go to the golf. And I think, you know, and Darren will be happy to show you exactly where every dime goes. Oh, do you want my microphone?
I know that you get the money for the beautification at the golf events. And do you think that the people that play golf come to the plaza? So could there be an event during golf that event goes to the plaza instead of just golf?
People that go to the golf events do it for the golf course. There's a different group of people that come to the plaza events and the plaza fundraising. And I know me and my wife go to both. So I don't see any reason why there has to be an overflow from one to the other.
Gene in the back.
Guess I'm changing the subject a little bit here, but just wanted to say that the part about removing the CG on hole 15, I think is a good idea, because for the longest time I didn't even know it was there, because as a golfer, unless you look back, you don't even see it. So I thought what would have been a better solution is to put something on the bank behind 15 green, and maybe something durable like rock or something, a formation that could form into the CG and was an emblem or something like that amongst all the nice the trees and that they've added. It's looked really good. If there's some way you could work that in.
We looked at that. Remember there was the four
Hang on, Larry.
spots? There was the 4 spots up on the hill that we put palm trees in. We looked into putting CG Country Club or whatever up in there in those 4 spots. But we were rejected because of the cost of maintaining it, because the rocks are going to lose their color. It was going to be more difficult for mowing or whatever. There was a lot of negatives involved. I can't remember each one of them. We wanted to do that, but I guess it made more sense to put trees in. I don't know.
You say rejected, you mean from Ethan?
Huh?
You mean from Ethan rejected it?
Oh, Ethan didn't want it.
Right, so Ethan rejected it.
And I think even the board might have been, there was a discussion about how nice that would look, but once all the pros and cons were weighed, it was going to be a difficult process.
Yep.
Okay. Any other comments, questions?
Bob?
Given that the having additional trees in that, is there any change needed to the irrigation?
That's always part of it.
Yeah.
We don't put anything in that can't get water access. Again, that's where it circles back to Ethan. You know, if you extend irrigation, like if you look behind between holes 2 and 9, that section back there, he found the irrigation. So something could go in.
All right, any other comments? All right, so for clarity, we are approving 1 through 4 is what's on the
Yeah, and we're going to
table.
pend.
5 is a push.
15, yeah.
Okay,
Sorry, the whole 15.
all right, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We are done. Okay. Credit book. Next item on the agenda is the golf credit book. That is me. Okay, so for some of you who don't know what golf credit book is when we have events, club events, bless you. When we have club events, a portion of your entry fee goes to prizes. Those prizes in the club events are paid out through the pro shop.
Yeah, do you want the microphone? Here you go, James.
Talk louder.
Can you just project them?
Yeah, it's online, says it works better than that. Just scream.
Okay, so we're screaming. So golf credit book is when you play in an event at the golf course in one of the club events, portion of your entry fee goes to support the pro shop, specifically hard and soft good merchandise. In what we're looking at in terms of this is those credit books right now, if we don't approve this, expire on December 31st of this year. Right? Last year, there was a conversation that was held that it was too tight of a time frame. So what we're looking at now is taking the credit book from expiring in this current year. Going forward, every December 31st, your credit book will expire December 31st of the following year. So for clarity, December 31st, 2024, whatever's outstanding, will expire on December 31st, 2025. Our POS system can handle us putting in a specific expiry date. So if you, as you start to win prizes, I'll be excluded from that, but as you start to win prizes, your expiry date will then be set in January to December 31st, 2026. That gives you ample time to spend your credit book. We are also looking at restricting or eliminating, actually, the use of converting your credit book to gift cards. This was originally initiated in 2023 because the size of the credit book had totaled almost $40,000 at that point, and the concept was to get it reduced. We no longer have that issue. We don't anticipate having that issue on a going forward basis with it now rolling. So we are going to eliminate that requirement. In terms of using of this, you can use it for hard goods, soft goods, merchandise in the pro shop, right? Not for carts, right? Not for lessons, not to pay your fees into events and tournaments or anything like that. It is to support the golf club and our pro shop sales. So that's in terms of background. In terms of reading the policy, Stephanie.
Thank you. This is the proposed policy. The credit book is an obligation to the HOA, and we do not want the collective amount to continuously increase. We also want to provide our homeowners with ample time to spend their credit book in our pro shop on merchandise. Credit books expire on December 31st of the year after it is awarded. This means that all current credit book amounts will expire on December 31st, 2025. This expiration date will be entered into the POS system. In addition, starting in 2025, every time funds are added to a homeowner's credit book, it will have an expiration date of December 31st of the following year. Thereby, homeowners are afforded ample time to spend their funds. Also, effective immediately, credit book funds cannot be transferred to gift cards, and credit book funds can only be used for purchase of hard or soft good merchandise in the pro shop.
Thanks, Stephanie. May I have a motion to approve the credit book policy as written?
I motion.
Second?
Who made the motion?
Lisa, Neil seconded.
Neil seconded. Any discussion by the board? Any discussion by the audience? Wow.
I just have one.
Yeah. All right, all in favor?
Do people get emailed out how much they have? So, you know, if you're a win and you
No,
don't.
you have to go
You
down
have
to
to go in
the
and check.
pro shop
Okay,
and ask them
that's
how much
okay.
it
I
is.
just wondered.
Yeah. So I'll give you your number, 0.
Okay, yeah.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda is gift card policy. So in terms of background, a few weeks ago, we suspended issuing of gift cards in golf. What we were finding is we were having a hard time of actually determining our outstanding value, exposure, because when the POS system switched, the previous credit card, gift cards did not. So it became a manual exercise. This was leading to a bunch of problems and a potential risk. So we just ceased it. We did not have that problem up here. So what we are proposing now is that we want to have our gift cards one across property. So if you buy the gift card or you win it at Bunko, right, you can use that either in the the plaza, in the pro shop, at any, or the golf grill, right? The reason we would want that is, A, it's a lot easier on our team, right? It becomes complicated, it becomes confusing for homeowners, and ultimately, these are just, really, it's just a loan to the HOA. When you buy a gift card, you're giving us free money for some period of time. Now, having said that, we need to put in a trigger limit on this. We need to set it to a limit. The proposal is for $30,000. Once we get to that level, any additional sales of gift cards, we need to put an offsetting amount into a bank account segregated. And the reason for that is, in the state of Florida, gift cards never expire. So we could have an exposure. The last one we had, the calculation was 27,000. Alan assures me it goes up and down enough that 30 is kind of in the sweet spot. But if we go above it, we're just going to put money in the following month into that account. And as we get below it, we'll withdraw money back out. We just don't want to wake up one day and have a $100,000 exposure. We would have spent the money because we got the cash. We just don't want to have a problem. So we need to put a little bit of a control mechanism in place for that. So having said all that, we are then looking to do the policy. And Stephanie?
Here's the proposed policy. Effective immediately, gift cards are to be made available by sale by cash, check, or credit card, with the latter having 3% added to any sale. Gift cards cannot be obtained by any other means, and no funds from credit book can be converted to a gift card. All gift cards may be used for purchase at the plaza, golf grill, or pro shop. In order to protect the HOA from a significant deferred liability and recognizing the inherent risk of gift cards that, by law, have no expiration date, it is recommended that a trigger limit be established in the amount of $30,000. This limit would allow the HOA to use the proceeds from gift card sales immediately, but to a maximum cumulative total of $30,000. Once the unused outstanding balance of all issued gift cards exceeds $30,000, then all subsequent sales of gift cards would require that an equal amount of funds be transferred and held in a separate bank account. This process will provide the HOA with protection from an ever-increasing unused gift card balance, while still providing our members with the benefits of gift cards. When the cumulative outstanding balance reduces below $30,000, then funds would be transferred from the above bank account to the general operational bank account. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. May I have a motion to approve the policy as presented?
I motion.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion by the board?
I have a question. As this is a policy, is there a mandated time frame before it can go into effect as being notified or noticed to the community?
So right now, the policy says it is effective immediately. So once we have a signature, we would just communicate that this is the policy now moving forward.
So in the state of Florida, is there no longer a need to notify 14 days in advance or 14 days prior to a policy going into effect?
Not for a policy.
Okay.
It was modifying the documents, the bylaws or anything like that, obviously notification. I think it's just an operational policy.
Okay.
Just one clarification. So it says by purchase, by sale, by cash, like we give them out as prizes at Bunko, like I guess someone's buying those initially, or are they, whoever's cards allowed to be given out as?
Yeah.
Okay.
Each event
then buys them.
Yeah, I read it too, but think about it, if I buy 5 gift cards to give for a competition, well then.
Then it's, the initial sale was
Somebody
5. Yep.
has to buy them at some stage.
Yep.
Yeah, so like when we do events here at the plaza that give out gift cards, like Mitch is purchasing them with the money that he has in his
event group
account. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
And just for clarity, the gift cards may be used for purchases at the plaza, golf grill, and pro shop. Pro shop is just hard and soft goods.
Not for this.
Now, if you buy.
This is a gift card, you can trophy.
You can get a lesson pen.
For anything you
Okay,
want.
I just wanted to clarify that.
Yep.
Right. And the other part, since we're clarifying things, if you currently have a gift card, it would also fall under this policy. Use it wherever you want.
Okay.
We know if the gift cards currently work that way. So like
Yes. They do,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, they do.
So we'll just have to inform the staff of all that.
Yeah, because when I went to renew my cart fee, I had some gift cards and they said you can't use gift cards to renew your cart fee. I said,
That's because we suspended them.
and suspended issuing them. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway,
What happens
yeah,
when you pay early?
no, it's been clarified.
Any other questions or comments by the board? Any by the audience? Yes.
Sorry.
Could you give us a little detail about when, it's like a monthly report, say, oh, we sold more than 30,000, so this month we're putting money in?
There's a cumulative report that lists all the gift cards
And it's a
and
monthly review?
yeah, total.
The board approves it, and
Yep.
that whole thing, okay.
I mean, the annoying part is there's 100 that are 19 cents, 34, like I do it too. Like when you get down to that, you just throw it out. Unfortunately, it's going to sit on our balance sheet forever.
And we don't know who's got that.
And we are not by name. I mean, every once in a while, the report will have like who bought it maybe, but generally we have no idea. So again, somebody might have won one or have one and just threw it out or lost it, or again, 20 cents on it, you can't buy anything with that. You toss it in the garbage and it sits on our balance sheet forever, which is kind of frustrating. Like Florida just come out and be like, anything below, pick a number, $10, just write off. But
Can we not, is there not an ability like, in the finance world, if an account is dormant for a certain period of time?
Sheet loss?
Yeah.
The problem is we don't know who.
Don't know who.
So when you sheet to the state, you got to be able to say like, Neil Roberts, here's his last address. We tried to contact him for 3 years and nothing.
Okay.
So all we got is a gift card number and that's it.
How do they do with rate checks then?
Well,
That's a different issue that no longer goes through gift cards. Any other? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Pass unanimously. Next item on the agenda is plaza beautification requests. Lisa.
I just realizing that.
Need a raise.
Yeah, I think I'm last phone. I know my luck to give me the gift card. Hi, sorry, I'm also the liaison for the Plaza Beautification team. And going forward from 2025, it'll be a little bit more structured the way the golf is. So, but in the meantime, the ladies that have been doing Trojan work, they have a number of items that they would like prices on, and then hopefully then we can use the funds that are available. There's approximately $6,000 in the Plaza Beautification Fund, and the ladies are hoping that we can do some of these. Basically, first of all, is installation of electrical outlets. They would like some, they were hoping for 7, maybe 5 USB stations around the outside bar. So if people are sitting, maybe needing to charge their phones or maybe do a little bit of work if they're up here in the plaza, that they can actually do that if they're here for lunch or whatever. The quote was that they got from Stephanie was very high. It was over $2,000. So we're hoping to get 3 quotes. Because personally, I think that's a crazy price anyway. But so hopefully we'll get better quotes. And they would also like a Rubbermaid outdoor cabinet for donated games and activities. So that could be left outside. So if somebody can't get in here to the games room, that some of the games or some of the, I'm assuming, pool type of games could be left in a waterproof cabinet. They found one on Amazon for $269, and we have the link here. And they also would like to purchase a new fire pit and all-weather Adirondack chairs. Sorry.
Adirondack.
Yeah, we just call them fancy deck chairs. So these additions will create a welcoming space for community members to relax and socialise. They found a pack of 6 set in dark grey for $729 and 3 side tables at $56 each, which is a total of $897 for the chairs and some side tables. And they found a 44-inch propane gas fire pit table with wind guard aluminium top for $319.99. Again, on Amazon. Gotta love Amazon. Total 6 chairs, 3 side tables, and a fire pit is $1,216.99. They would like Chive TV added to 2 of the outdoor TVs on the deck. It's a 3-year subscription. It's $159. For those of you who don't know what Chive is, basically it's an entertainment app, and it has viral videos. It has trivia, so you could come up. Just say you're sitting up here and maybe you're not talking to your other half and you want to just have dinner. You can actually play trivia on your own with the screen. Not that we're saying that people don't be talking to their other half. So that's $159 for the 2 TVs for 3 years. They are also looking to get some pricing for LED lighting around the bar. And actually, James, when I came on the board, you sent me a link to a guy who'd done some work here in the community. So I'll send that to Stephanie.
Me?
Yeah.
I sent you a link?
Yeah, he sent me a link to some guy. He sent you a proposal. Anyway, yeah. Uplighting.
Oh, yeah. But he was for something different. That was for.
Yeah, but he might do something like this. Uplighting around the trees is another project that the Plaza Beautification team are going to be looking at, and also speakers around the lower pool. So down below, if people there at the weekend, they'd like to have some music down there, so we need to get some quotes for that as well. And so Don Buckley, Marie Rich, and the Beautification Fund volunteers, they are very thankful for everybody that's helped contribute to the Plaza Beautification. We will be doing more events during the year, and that they hope that these improvements will enhance everybody's experience up in the plaza.
What's your ask? What do you want as the motion here?
I would say the fire pit. I would say definitely the fire pit, and I would say the table and chairs. I think
we're asking for approval for the Rubbermaid outdoor cabinet.
Yeah, Rubbermaid. If we get the ones that we have prices for that are the girls have done the research on. So we've got a Rubbermaid outdoor cabinet. You've got the fire pit and the chairs, the Chive TV, and then I think I really would like to get more quotes on that LED or the USB things that should not cost that amount of money for 7 USB outlets.
So your motion is then for the Rubbermaid outdoor cabinets.
Yep, the purchase of the new
fire pit
and the chairs,
Adirondack chairs,
and Chive TV.
Yeah,
the rest I think we can get prices and then come back to the board then.
All right. So the motion for those three. Do we have? Can I have a motion for that then?
Okay. I'd like to make a motion that the board of directors approve the following. The Rubbermaid outdoor cabinet for donated games and activities, the purchase of the new fire pit and all-weather Adirondack chairs, including the fire pit, and also that we get Chive TV added on to 2 of the outdoor TVs. And then I would prefer if we could get prices for everything else.
Right. We have a second?
I'll second.
Discussion by the board.
Couple of questions I had.
Howard?
No, I don't know. Maybe you can't answer these. For a fire pit, do we need to have additional insurance for that?
Well, it's normally a propane one. It's like having the heaters.
It's no worse than having the heaters.
No, I wouldn't say so. Okay.
I say, where's the location? That's gonna be my question.
They haven't said where they want it.
I know they've told me they would like it under the pergola.
Oh, okay.
Is where they
and put seats around it there. Oh, that'd be pretty. Yeah, that'd be pretty.
Well, under the one between the pools.
The 2 pools, up the steps. Yeah. I don't think it would need any more insurance than a heater. You know those glass heaters we have with the flame?
And we have a small fire pit right now.
Oh, do we?
Yeah.
Where?
Out here. It's not operational.
All right. Okay, I didn't realize that. Okay.
So there.
The location, like, isn't the fire pits designed to have like chairs around it? You have a beer, like between the 2 pools, is there enough seating area? And that seems like
I'd say so. That's a big enough area. I mean, we're not talking about I can't imagine it's going to be used that often. Maybe in the colder evenings, somebody might sit up there with a glass of wine. You know?
My biggest concern is buying anything from Amazon could degrade quickly. I think we need to look into, and I'm happy to look into all this, but I think we need to look into higher quality chairs to leave outside in the elements. Okay. So I think the 6-pack from Amazon for what was it, $700?
$897.
Yeah, I mean to get good quality Adirondack chairs, they're typically $300 or $400 a piece. If you're looking for good quality deck chairs to put out there.
Okay.
So if it's something that we want to amplify the space, it is going to be expensive, but I think it is worth it. I agree that they have the right mindset on this being a really good thing for the community.
Do we know where those chairs are going to go?
With the fire pit.
Same around the fire pit?
Yeah, sort of sitting in a circle.
Okay, because that around chairs are pretty big. I mean, they're
They
the
are.
usual
We'd have
ones
to
with the
look at the
slam, with the
size.
slab. I mean, at least the,
Yeah, we'd have to look
The
at the
wood ones
size
I'm
of it
used
and
to.
measure it all out, but I'm happy to do that work.
How are we getting the propane? We just talked about this having trouble.
you can
with-
buy them at
No, but
Publix.
we've been having trouble.
Well, so the challenge when we bought
Getting
all the
them.
heaters was getting, like, we're too small for the propane company to deliver. And then you're not supposed to travel in like an individual car with more than like 3 propane tanks. So I forget what happened. 4. So how are you refilling the propane tanks now?
We're making multiple runs. Yeah.
So if somebody's driving to and from Love or wherever you go to get propane?
We have like propane day for the maintenance guys and they're making multiple runs because they can't.
Right now, it's
carry-
almost daily.
Yeah, and they can't carry more than 4 in their vehicles. They're having to make multiple runs a day.
Then you get a contract to have them deliver.
No, we're not big enough
We're
of
too small.
a company. We've engaged multiple companies. They have like a 100 tank a month requirement. And we just don't fit that.
And none that have a seasonal, right? I think you mentioned that previously.
Yeah,
They don't
it-
even do
It
seasonal.
requires like a year contract for 100 tanks a month.
I'll talk to the girls, but they may not need to be those Iron Deck chairs. They could be chairs with like cushions that could be brought in the evening, I'm just thinking, John has just explained what an Iron Deck chair is.
Oh, yeah, how to ride their chair.
Yeah, so.
They're really nice.
Yeah,
Some are
but
comfortable, some are not, depending on what you get.
quite back, yeah, they sit back quite far, so.
Yeah, so they're angled back and they got like a little,
Yeah, so I'll talk to the girls, but yeah, that's their idea, that they want something that people can sit out and sit around the fire pit in the cold evening.
All right, so Rubbermaid outdoor count, we'll get to the revision.
Yeah, well, Rubbermaid is a brand, I mean,
No.
it is what it is.
and do we know where that cabinet's going to go or?
No, they didn't tell me that.
The only concern I have with any sort of thing sitting out there and allowing any residents to just freely grab is that's what we currently have here in the game room, and all of our games have missing pieces, they're not taken care of. So that would be my only concern as lifestyle director. I feel like we need someone to manage that, but that's making sure that we have someone who can check in and out that equipment here consistently while the operation is open.
Could we have an honesty system where you sign a game out or you sign whatever out and then sign it back in again?
I mean, sure, we could look into something like that.
I don't know if
know if it
drop
would
any.
necessarily work, but we could try it. Yep.
I think most people in here are inherently honest. I don't think anybody's going to run off with a lilo.
I'm just trying to think of it as the management side of
Yeah.
things and how it works for us.
But that's what the ladies are looking for now.
Or we just
I would
accept it.
suggest,
The
I would
switch is
suggest we need to go
stolen.
back and maybe just check with them and see,
See what the,
like a different chair.
On the chairs, I think you need to loop FSR in, because
Yeah,
they have a buying, under FSR's program, they have a preferred vendors where they get different discounts.
okay.
Right, sort of like what we just did with Waste Management, we saved 12 grand. They might, I don't know, y'all have one of those?
Patio furniture.
For patio furniture, yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll amend my thing, and I'd say I would like to propose that the board approves that the Rubbermaid outdoor cabinet, because that's going to be handy for the games, and then the Chive TV subscription, and then we'll go back then and look at different options for the furniture.
so one question on Chive TV, like who controls that? So in other words, if I'm out there and just want a nice
I think it's.
deal and someone wants to play trivia and start,
Yeah.
changing the channel, like in other words, is that going to, and do both TVs have to have it on at the same time or,
Two separate, there's two, they wanted 3-year subscriptions, 159 on 2 TVs, 2 outdoor TVs.
right, and that's fine, that's relatively inexpensive for 3 year. I'm just worried, like, in other words, who's got the clicker that if there's a football game on and somebody wants to play trivia,
Yeah.
who gets to decide who's doing what?
Is there gonna be volleyball on
Is the Chive TV like, sort of like my Apple TV where I'm
It's like
always
Hulu
doing,
where it's
but I'm always
streaming.
having to do
Videos.
downloading of
TV? You have that-
refresh?
They gotta listen to it, not the drive TV.
Well, viral videos would say you're going to be listening to it, right?
So are there certain,
Not for drive TV. You see it in ours. It's just up there. Like, I'm watching sports, my wife's watching the dogs on track TV.
Right.
Diving in the water.
No,
There might be, but you don't need it.
Gotcha.
More of a visual.
So on the Chive TV, because we'll finish here first. Right, on the Chalk TV, do we have to update subscriptions? Is that how that works? I don't know anything about
We have
it.
to update this.
You have to buy a subscription.
You have to buy a
Do you have to
3 years.
update it?
3 year subscription.
3 years. is
Every
what
3
Lisa said, I
years.
think.
Okay, okay.
But my question
got
is
it.
around things like parental control. Are kids going to have access to this, to be able to control playing trivia? I know when you go into some restaurants, they have these
They're like,
games,
yeah,
but they charge you for that.
yeah.
So they add it to your bill, so you think you're playing a trivia game, and it's great, and then you get your bill, and you've been charged another $5
Right.
for playing it.
It's something I'm happy to look into as well.
I think we need to understand the controls around it.
We do have some comments online.
Okay.
So it says everyone can play trivia. There's no sound when playing. It doesn't interfere with others.
Okay.
Somebody else wrote, why tie up 2 TVs for this? Somebody wrote, how is this beautification?
It's not
The
beautiful.
next person put agreed.
It's enhancement for the plaza rather than beautification. Beautification of the plaza is going to be difficult because it's a building. You know, unless you buy pictures or new lights or something, but it's more of an enhancement thing really. But there you go, there's no sound when playing, everyone can play trivia and it doesn't interfere with others.
Good. Any other questions from the audience?
Mark?
Yeah.
So
Mark, hang on.
I hate to be a downer, but as a resident here, I'm pretty proud of how the plaza looks, the inside and out. And I mean, one thing Lennar did pretty well is it built us a nice plaza. What is this furniture going to do to the look and feel, like the Rubbermaid box? And, you know, I don't even like the ice cream thing out there. To me, it looks cheesy, but what is that going to do to the look and feel of the community or the plaza?
Just add a point to what Mark was saying. I mean, I think the proposals and the plaza, they're obviously all good things. But I certainly think a proposal that comes to the board from the plaza, it should be jointly supported by our lifestyle director. I think we're just wasting the board's time and everybody's time. You surely should take that and he should approve. He should be a second stage of approval before it even comes to the board. In that sense, it seems senseless to do it otherwise than a waste of everyone's time here, particularly the board. And the second point I wanted to make is this gentleman before talked about a fire issue with a potential change on a roof. I don't know how insurance works in the States. I do know how it works in the UK. And I'd have to say you need to be very, very careful about introducing anything that has potential for a fire issue, whether it's changing a roof, putting a fire pit in. You'll have all your obligations that are written into a policy. The minute you slip up inadvertently by doing something enthusiastically, the insurance will spend their time not paying up. So whenever you're doing anything that is potentially to do with potential fire issue or a risk that you didn't have before you took out a policy, you need to be very, very careful that you're not inadvertently stepping into an insurance obligation that you didn't inadvertently know that you had. It's very rare. I mean, the insurers don't want to pay out. Full stop. That's how it works.
We can
So
check
you're
it
not
out.
going to do anything that actually prejudice your policy in the smallest way possible.
We can certainly check with the insurance broker on that.
Fire pits are pretty common.
The other thing is you gotta
Fire pits are
remember,
pretty common.
if you're gonna put the fire pit on the walkway, you're talking about between 2 poles, but you're not inhibiting people to walk through. That's right. First of all. The second is, there's a law, you can't have it within 25 feet of a structure. So it's gonna be 25 feet away from this building. That's one of the state laws.
Okay.
So,
So what do we want to do?
Any other questions?
This is John Buckley's messaging me here.
How many people are on this committee?
It's just a group of the ladies. There isn't a structure like there is with the golf one, so that's why I'm going to get involved this year.
So it's like 5 people making a decision about when the rest of us are gonna.
No, it's 5 of these ladies that run events in order to enhance the plaza for everybody and put a lot of work in.
I'm not disputing the work.
Yeah.
I'm just asking
And then-
how many people are making the recommendation.
Well, the team, just like the beautification team, the golf beautification team, make the recommendations on behalf of the homeowners, but it's not a case that it's for hitting anybody over the head and saying you have to do it. These ladies are doing this work to enhance the venue for everybody, you know, and put a lot of work into it. There's about 5 of the ladies.
We have a question in the back.
I don't have a question, I just have a comment. I agree with the gentleman who talked about how things look out there. It's pleasing to the eye. It's very, it's aesthetically, I'm concerned about what you put out there. Is it going to be as pleasing as what we see? Or are we going to have hodgepodge, this looking this way, this, that color? Everything out there looks really good. So that's my concern.
I can take that back to the, if you want, we can wait and take it back. I think
we want to, do you want to table your, you want to table it?
Yeah, I'll table the motion, I need to get on.
Okay. So we are going to table plaza beautification requests.
Yeah.
All right. Next item on the agenda is photos and Forties down at the golf course. So that is me. So currently down at the golf course, in the pro shop specifically, to play golf, you do not need to have your picture up here. You're using plaza cards, et cetera, if you're asked. What we are finding is that
Little louder, James.
Can't hear over here, James.
So down at the golf course, currently at the golf course, you do not require to have your photo in Forties in the pro shop. What we have found is that some people check in, let's just say Alan and I were married, we check in together. I do the check-in, I get to the first tee, it's not Alan, it's Campbell. And we just got out for 2 trail fees or $229 or whatever the case might be. We also need, so we have some revenue leakage. We are aware of it. We are actively addressing it. Ben's been fantastic. The entire pro shop team has been fantastic on that regard. But we need to make their life a little easier. So we need to be able to streamline the process by having the picture in the pro shop. They verify who it is. Then the starter, because we have added Wi-Fi now into the entire area that goes from 9 green to the practice tee to 10 tee to the first tee, all of that area. So the starter can now have an iPad or tablet, and from that can see the picture of who's in the group. So that will be our check and balance that everything has gone the way it's supposed to. It will help in the member experience. It will also help with our revenue leakage. So that is why we are looking at doing this. And as normal, Stephanie, what's the policy?
The proposed policy is effective January 1st, 2025. All members of the Country Club at Champions Gate are required to have their photo uploaded to the POS system if they wish to utilize the golf course. This is going to help to improve efficiency and accuracy in checking in members and will assist with allowing a better overall member experience. Once a photo is uploaded into the POS system, it requires approval from the management team, which will require a 3 business day grace period. This means that if a member wishes to utilize the golf course on January 1st, 2025, their photo needs to be uploaded to the system by December 27th, 2024.
Thanks, Stephanie. May I have a motion to approve the policy as written?
I approve, or a motion.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
Discussion by the board.
I just have one quick question. What about for new homeowners?
So
just say, I sell a house to John, and John wants to get the golf course the next day. Is there leeway made for new homeowners
So at that point, you're coming in for the welcoming
to get the
orientation where you're doing the plaza card. They would be doing it at the exact same time.
Yeah.
Right? We do have a camera in the pro shop as well, which Ben can handle.
So Ben could do that, yeah.
Right.
That's all. It's just, because it is something that's going, people are going.
All right, we're going to get it.
Yeah.
Hopefully 80 times a year, maybe more. Any other?
We still have the 3-day grace period though.
Correct, but so when you come into when you close on your house, right, in all probability, the chances that you're playing golf the next day, probably,
Some of my clients.
probably slim. But if that is the case, we will develop a way of communication from the HOA office down to Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, if a member goes down to golf and they take their photo and our team uploads it, it doesn't require that 3-day period. Because what happens if a homeowner is uploading it on Forties themselves, it goes into like an approval queue. But if we're doing it right off the bat, it doesn't go into the approval queue. We're just approving it.
It's just you will get asked,
Right.
so.
The 3 days is because we've had people upload pictures of alligators. Everything. Like, you'd be amazed at what we got. Any other? Marilyn?
So I fully support the photos on file. I hope that they're integrated with the ones up here so that you have the same person with the Plaza card has the same photo down at the golf shop, which is probably not the case. Anyways, I just encourage you to, as you progress with the audit of the membership, that you get the photos in sync as well as the membership in sync.
I missed it. I'm not sure I understand why you must photograph to be able to put it off as a member.
Because not everyone might be as honest as you. And we have people that change from the time they walk in the pro shop to the time they get to the first tee. So the reality is, they check in at the pro shop, and they're not the ones that go out on the golf course.
Oh, I see.
So, right, and I know you, so I know specifically that's not an issue. However, we have 937 houses, and I have no clue how many people that is, but I'm going to guess 1,900. There's no way the pro shop can know them all because not everyone plays as frequently as others.
I don't like putting my picture out on anything, but I will do it. I'll make this consistent.
Thank you.
I don't put my picture on Facebook. I want my picture nowhere.
Yeah,
I've had some people have bad experiences with their picture just putting out. The internet and social media outlets.
Right, we're only using it in 4Ts. We already actually have your picture in the plaza, right? So we're not going any differently. We are not going to put it on Facebook, Instagram. I know that. I know that.
But I will support this, but I will do it reluctantly because I have to put the tea in the ground.
James, did you say, getting back to Stephanie's comment, did you say that our pictures are already in 4Ts because they're on the plaza?
No.
Okay.
No. So did I say that?
We have your picture at the plaza on the card.
Yeah.
Right.
But I had to have another one at the pro shop.
So well, I can answer the question. You already have your picture there. You need to do nothing. You're already done. Yes.
I guess the question maybe, Tom, is the pictures that we have on our plaza cards are not available to be put on the 4T system.
Correct.
But to get back to Marilyn's question, the bigger question is, if the picture at the plaza for you is actually my face and down there it's your face, that's a different problem. That's what she's raising, which still a problem.
Yeah.
James, can I ask when we walk into with this new procedure, when we walk into the pro shop, what are we expecting to happen?
So when you check in, Robin, you would announce your arrival to, let's just say Ben, for argument's sake. He would, on his screen up would pop your picture. Everything would be seamless from you at that point. It's you,
So they have an obligation to look on that screen at that picture. That's part of this process. That's the second
Correct.
part.
Yes.
They have in the pro shop the obligation to do that for everyone.
Right.
Not just wave you through.
Not just wave you through, and then at the first tee.
Ben agrees with that, so there's a
And then at the first tee, the starter is to also You'll also find, if we want to go a step further, is that in the games when we have the 830 shotgun, right now, it's a feeding frenzy, right? You're just tossing pieces of paper. The starter can't possibly look at it. Well, that starter is going to be positioned on hole one. We won't take your check-in. You can play your 7 or 8 holes in the back 9, but everyone goes through one. That starter is going to verify you again at that point. If there's a problem, we'll deal with it.
It's an excellent suggestion.
Yeah. Thank you.
So do you have to upload it, or can you just go to the plaza and have it done?
You don't have to upload it, but you'd have to go to the
Pro shop. Pro shop.
Pro shop has a camera.
Next time you go down there, just ask them.
Take your picture.
Take your picture. Right.
Yep.
James, I had to upload a picture to charge down there at the grill. Am I done?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so you can actually take your own picture and upload it, and then they approve it.
Correct.
That's correct.
But that's the one that takes 3 days, Larry. That takes 3 days.
3 business days.
So,
Yeah.
just to clarify Robin's point. So Robin goes in every day and sees Ben for 2 months in a row. Ben knows Robin. Well, yeah, your mustache, different issue. But reality is, like, Ben is gonna know some, like, so I don't expect Ben to necessarily check your picture every time, but like, for someone like me who only golfs, a couple times a month, somebody at the pro shop or a new hire might not, and that's the other thing is, don't be offended if there's new employees, they ask you, who you are, or they say, I gotta look at your picture, right? Because, we all want that Norm Cheers experience, but we need these controls in place for the folks that they don't know, as well as the frequent golfers.
I have one other question on that, as well as the picture. Will that flash up the membership that person holds, i.e. trail fee, cart fee? Because I've seen a number of people I know are not trail fees, waltz through that office and don't pay anything.
Right, so.
And go out with their own car?
Yes.
Yes.
They're not paying a trail fee.
Right, and so we have some changes that have come in the last few days, right? So it's now, M4Ts is now color coded. So when it comes up, we won't get into what colors means what, but certain colors means that the pro shop needs to be collecting money, right? Then once that happens, the next thing is you need your check and balance, because the pro shop is in a building. The first tee is 100 yards away, more or less. And then when you get to the time you get there, that next person is our last line of defense, making sure everything is in accordance. Was the bill proper? Because we get bills that are paid where someone pays too much and someone pays too little, right? And we want to correct both of those, right? So yes, we will get to all of that. And yes, there is the fact that we do know that some people are getting out paying, and that's why we're trying to go in this direction. But fair point. Anything else? Okay.
No questions online?
Do we?
No, just there's been a couple of comments online, but with regard to this, the pro shop has been outstanding using their camera in the shop and downloading the pictures the same day.
Make sure we get your good side too.
All right, so let's vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda is holiday street parking.
Hey,
John.
James, thank you.
Hang on. There you go.
Okay. With the holiday season approaching in just a few days and so forth, families are going to have their relatives and friends and so forth visit them during the course of the holiday season. We all know that parking is a definite challenge here in Champions Gate, and I would like to propose to the board to suspend our parking policy from December 21st through January 5th.
The whole policy, towing.
Street parking.
Towing.
So to allow street parking.
To allow street parking, right. Sorry, my.
Oh, not the whole policy.
Do we have a motion to approve the December 21st to January 5th?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion by the board?
I think it's reasonable, especially people with small driveways if they've got people staying, you know. It's holidays.
What emergency vehicles give access?
I don't think any of our streets are that narrow, are they?
They need 20 feet.
There's
If I remember correctly.
That's why we have no parking.
Well, there's got to be concern when folks do have visitors come, to ask them to try to park in their driveways if possible, and to obviously try to stay in front of their home that they're visiting, and to be conscientious of other vehicles that may be across the street. So it's going to be twofold, really. I mean, it's going to be the owner's responsibility to try to make sure that that occurs, as well as the visitor adhering to it.
The reality is that under the new legislation, you have 14 days to cure. So even if you do it, there's really nothing we can do. Let's be honest about it. So yes, right, we're putting this in because every year we put it in. One. Two is if the people are parked on the street today, right now, right, we could give them their little, I don't remember what color it is.
Neon pink.
Right, pink, and then they have an opportunity to move that vehicle. If they move it and cure it in 14 days, according to the new legislation, that's it, we're done. Actually, if it goes all the way to the time of hearing, we probably are still done. We don't have an immediate tow policy, so if we did, that would be a much different conversation, but we don't.
So that's why the service vehicle has been parked on my street for about 3 or 4 weeks. And it just, and nobody's done anything about it.
Let me give you the mic here.
Is that why we don't have any?
I didn't hear what she said. I'm so sorry.
Because that's why there's been a service vehicle parked on her street for 3 to 4 weeks, and
It stays there.
What do you mean?
Like what kind of service vehicle?
I've been just waiting to see how long.
What kind of service vehicle?
Well, it's a truck, it has, writing on it, and it's parked literally on the street. As far as I'm concerned, it's an eyesore. I haven't said anything because I know the homeowner, and I don't want anybody to throw me under the bus. But if we're gonna have rules, everybody needs to follow it. They need to be enforced.
What street is it?
Falling Oaks Drive.
And
If you
it's-
drive down it right now, you'll see the service vehicle, and the person who owns the property does not live here. It's a vacation property, but there's no service.
No, it can't be a vacation property in Fallen Oak.
Well, it's
I think she means Stillbury.
vacation home.
Stillbury.
But this vehicle has been there for almost a month. And I've been waiting because again, I know the homeowner, and for me, it's just an eyesore. I'm just tired of looking at it. It's got writing all over it. At first, it used to be in the driveway. Now it's parked on the street. I wake up in the morning, it's parked on the street. If I go home now, it's parked on the street.
So I can speak to that. I mean, obviously I don't want anybody tattletaling on their neighbors, and I know a lot of people don't feel comfortable doing that, but I mean, I do invite you to tell me things like that. You know, unfortunately, I am just one person monitoring a community of almost 1,000 homes. I can tell you I do violation runs like once or twice a week. And if I see cars on the street, I address them. But if it's not there when I drive by, I can't address it. So I do invite people to tell me when they see things like that. And I do go out and address them when that happens. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
One other point I'd make is if you want to try and restrict it a little bit on during the holidays parking, if you wanted to make it more accessible for the roads, because I know they had an incident over in the Thanksgiving in the retreat where the emergency vehicle couldn't get down the street to park on both sides. Could you recommend that people only park on like an even numbered address side of each street, just to make a little more room during that?
And if they don't?
Which is fine if you live on the odd side of the street, but people on the even side of the street will get unhappy because they got all their cars parked along there. That's the problem with that, Gene.
So if you explain to them it's for emergencies.
Yeah.
You don't want your street. Yeah.
And Sensibly, people shouldn't park opposite each other on a street.
It makes no sense.
So do we actually need this policy if we can't violate it for 14 days? We can't enforce it. We can't, like,
Well, you can, because if they have been violated, say, 26 days ago, we would have a continuation of said item. So we couldn't loop them back in that way.
but if they were violated 26 days ago, wouldn't we want them to actually be
Yeah.
violated, in other words, they're not holiday parking
And
now?
if they've been violated before, well, then they've evidently, is what I would call
Keep
a.
in mind, under our street parking, a homeowner cannot park on the street.
No.
Period. We're not waiving that. It is visitor. It's very specific what our street parking is. So all these homeowners that park on the street are already in violation, 30 seconds, 10 seconds. We don't need to wait.
Yeah, but bear in mind, if Stephanie hasn't seen a car or a truck on Fallen Oak for 3-4 weeks, how are we going to know whether somebody's car is a visitor or whether it's a homeowner?
Well, that's a different problem.
Right.
You're right.
You know?
Let me just turn you up.
Take the tag number and run.
Go ahead, Chris.
Hello. I just wanted to say, maybe you should do a few conditions on your free parking. One is you don't park in front of somebody's driveway. One is you're not blocking a fire hydrant. One maybe is there's enough room for a fire truck to get down. If any of these conditions aren't met, you can have your car towed.
Like that idea.
Can we tell?
We don't have a policy.
We still got to notify them for.
We got to know,
hours.
to notify.
How much space vehicles for a fire truck? Nobody's going to do that.
And then somebody who gets there first and is careful about where they park, and some lulac comes in and parks opposite them and causes all the trouble if they're the ones that don't do it.
Quite frankly, in
Mark, you got Mark?
Oh.
He's just being my liaison.
Okay, he's the mic.
Microphone liaison.
Drop the mic.
All right, so.
I don't see the
need for this?
Honestly.
I get why we're trying to help people, I do, but I think bearing in mind, I don't know whether.
In reality, what we're trying to do is to stop the phone calls that are going to inevitably come between Christmas and New Year to the HOA office, saying my neighbor and their visitors are parked there, right? So, I mean, we're.
Well, I'm not sure this will
Well, I'm
stop
not sure
it.
this will stop it either.
Just look at the calls and all you can say is.
To the house across from.
All right.
Remember the crew, and they kept parking on the other side, and there was nothing to do with the other side. So, yeah, no,
All right, so then it sounds like we're going to table this?
Or just remove it.
Just remove it?
Yeah, no, they're tabling it.
Well, you,
Well, yeah, because it'll be
well,
after the holiday.
James,
Yes.
you need to take a vote. Seeing it's already a motion, you can take a vote, and if it doesn't pass, then it fails.
Fair point. All right, all in favor? Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
None. Good catch, John.
All right.
All right,
You're gonna need to speak up, James.
It is, yeah, unless of course.
enunciate, speak loudly.
My order,
All right, the next item on the agenda
which is, it's
is the ongoing legal matter with the terminated vendor. We're not going to take questions after this. We are, some of this stuff is going to be kind of difficult for some people to hear, but let's get through it.
you'll need the microphone, James.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to need
Got
that.
one here on this side.
All right, so this is with respect to the ongoing legal matter with the terminated vendor. This is not a motion, it's a discussion, right? So we wanted to update the community on this ongoing situation as we've been dealing with for over the past few months. As a community, the safety of our FSR team, our members, owners, guests, and board members are of the utmost importance to us. We cannot shrug off nor dismiss any risks. In terms of background, in the summer of 2024, the process commenced to formalize the relationship with one of our vendors. This was necessitated as there were questions pertaining to the scope of work, compensation, with the latter being mostly pertaining to fringe benefits. In addition, FSR was experiencing difficulties in obtaining supporting documentation showing appropriate insurance, including workers' compensation. FSR was working with this vendor to have these matters resolved and get the necessary supporting documentation. In September of 2024, FSR notified board members that the vendor was becoming increasingly difficult to work with and was becoming confrontational. The vendor at times wanted to be treated as a vendor. At other times, wanted to be treated as an employee so they can garner benefits. And still, at another time, wanted to be a homeowner. This vendor wanted complete autonomy to operate independently. Obviously, this was not a structure or a working relationship that either FSR or the board were willing to entertain. After attending a meeting with the vendor, they passed along a letter to the board, to a board member, and I quote, "This will explain everything." The basic premise of the letter was that members of Scientology had been stalking this vendor for over a decade, based on a prior dispute at an unrelated property. And that, as a result, this vendor had now brought Scientology to Champions Gate. Since the initial letter was provided, here is a snapshot of events that followed. The vendor has provided more letters to the board and FSR, even delivering one of them to a board member's home and at the golf course. Accused FSR of being a Scientology-based organization, made commentary that was threatening in nature to both on-site and regional FSR management. Drove to FSR's Maitland Regional Corporate Office to meet, unscheduled and unannounced, with our regional manager. Drove to an FSR manager's personal residence. Let that resonate for a moment. And left a letter attached to their front door. Drove to Naples, Florida, approximately 4 hours away, to our HOA attorney's office to meet, again, unscheduled and unannounced, with our HOA attorney and provide letters directly to our HOA attorney. Then accused our HOA attorney of being a Scientology puppet. Despite our clear direction not to come on HOA property and stay away from and have no contact with FSR staff, the vendor repeatedly shows up on property. Claimed to have provided these letters to local media offices, FBI offices in Lakeland and Tampa, and to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. In response to these actions by this vendor, as well as based on attorney advice, the board has taken the following actions. We terminated all working relationships and remitted any outstanding amounts owed to this vendor. Our attorney issued a no trespass letter stating that the vendor was no longer permitted on HOA-owned property. We have contacted the Osceola Police Department when the vendor violated the no trespass letter, and upon arrival, the police asked the vendor to leave the property. The police to date have not been as helpful as one would hope, and stated it is upon more serious criminal activity that they would take more action. Our attorney has reached out to Osceola's attorney, as the officer's interpretation seems to be contradictory to the written law. We have requested the Master Association to restrict access where possible and notify FSR management if and when the vendor accesses the property. This system is inherently flawed, right? In that homeowners can issue gate access passes bypassing gate attendants and notification. I want to be clear here. The Master Association and Ramco have been tremendously helpful in this quest. With the above summary, with above as a summary, here are some of the excerpts from letters we receive on a regular basis from this vendor. We hope this community understands what we are dealing with. I know getting this to you breaks the rules, but things have happened and are happening that the board needs to know about. How did the board make first contact with FSR? How did the board first make contact with its law firm and its attorney? During the last week of November, my investigators became aware of a dynamic that is going to rock Champions Gate and this story. After I got the intel, this is their words, not mine. After I got the intel, I immediately wrote a letter to the law office and voiced my concern. I wanted to make sure he got it, so I took it to his office in Naples last Tuesday. One of our FSR managers was also given a copy of that letter on that same last Tuesday. Last Thursday, I added that letter to 5 other documents and took them to the FBI office in Lakeland and then to the FDLE office in Tampa. The package also included both letters to your attorney sent to me. In another letter, a few days earlier, we believe Scientology is influencing your attorney, and she gives legal advice to this board. And now we'll go one step further and say that Scientology is telling her what to say, what to do, and guiding her on how to accomplish what they want. We believe your attorney is a Scientology puppet. Unfortunately, I have to add something to the last paragraph. We've been building a case against one of your FSR managers for months. We knew Scientology was in their operation, but we didn't know how deep the intrusion was. We are now saying emphatically that FSR is a Scientology-based company, and their actions and then reactions have exposed them. The allegation by two of your FSR managers made against me were not true, and they knew it. Having a law enforcement officer in the parking lot wasn't needed, and they knew it. Having to close the office was a joke. All of this was a farce, and FSR did this to me while knowing it was a farce. Given the vendor's thoughts on ownership in the community and actions continuing to violate the no trespass letter, we are not sure this situation will resolve itself in a timely manner. As such, we're asking those homeowners that we have contacted to remove any gate access passes for this vendor. Our attorney has advised the board that we can issue violations to any owner not complying with this request, as the vendor is using the owner's access to violate the no trespass and harass FSR staff. These owner sanctions are up to and including suspension of all privileges and amenity access if they continue to enable this vendor to come on site and the vendor violates the no trespass orders. We believe that this would be a very sad state. We do not want to vote this. What we want is we want compliance. We're asking for those homeowners to read the situation and help us here. As noticed in the introduction, community safety of our staff, of the FSR staff, owners, guests, board members, past board members are of the utmost importance and our responsibility, all of us, take seriously. We will continue to share updates and work closely with the FSR team and our attorney to resolve this matter. At this point, from a personal point of view, because this is the tip of the iceberg, some of this is really disturbing. It is a terrible feeling as a board to watch what some of these FSR people are going through. We need to put an end to this. And it has to start with all of us. We need some help here because there is no path for us on our own. Any comments by?
There's just somebody asking a question as to who the vendor is. Unfortunately, for legal reasons, we're not allowed to disclose that.
The vendor does not live here.
Don't take any questions.
The vendor's getting access to the property. Would I say they have friends? I don't know that, but they are getting access to the property, but it's still being on the gate access.
He was at the golf course the other day and it doesn't require gate access.
Sorry?
Say that again, Fred?
He was at the golf course the other day and it doesn't require.
Oh, right, the golf course is outside the gates.
It's outside the
That's true,
gate.
too.
That does
James?
Maybe the only comment I'll add is what James read is just excerpts. There's 20 pages of those letters and those commentary, and it's, again, just the tip of the iceberg. And
it's 20 pages every few days. It's not just 20 pages. We get it a lot.
You know, contract work. I can't hear what they're saying.
He had no contract to work here, so. there's no reason that he has-
He said he didn't have a contract to work here. That was a contract to work for me.
Yeah, we need to have a discussion about this, please. It's a recorded meeting. James. Put this up.
I can't hear you.
We can't have a discussion about
Yeah.
this. It's recorded.
That's true. So-
If the master been contacted for gate access, which I'm gonna report on, as this vendor out there to wipe them off.
So I have asked that question and they've been unable to provide that. Because they don't have, like, it's really complicated, but the answer is no. I don't know why or how, but he's not,
Let's tread lightly here.
yeah.
I think we should
I think
stop
that-
the discussion now.
I think that what we wanted to do here was get the message out of what we're dealing with, right? We need to recognize this is costing us money. This is costing us thousands in legals. We have no path for getting that back, right? There is absolutely nothing we can do in that regard. We need some help, right? Board members will be meeting with individuals that we do know that the vendor is on the list for getting into gate access. We're hoping that we can move it forward in that direction in an amicable way. But we will keep you informed of what's going on.
They were just called the HOA office. And the person that they're hiring isn't that much.
Well, so.
Can you pass the microphone to these people?
Yeah. No,
Really shouldn't be discussed.
Do we have another microphone?
It's over by Lisa, between Lisa and
Somebody's going to say name and this is recorded.
Sorry?
Going to say name and this is recorded.
Are you a Scientology-based company?
Would like to answer that. Inside,
No.
Okay, that's all I need.
We'll just see it.
Are we allowing any other discussion before we?
So we got to be very careful here because the question that we're anticipating is 50,000 times is what's the name? And we can't do that. Our attorney is saying we can't do it, right? We'll probably have, we will have more to say at this in the January board meeting. But for this point in time, let's just see if we can garner the support where we need it.
James, there's a question here somebody asking who it was. So we've said we're not at liberty to disclose, but also is it someone that they could hire without knowing? I would suggest that anybody who's looking to get some work done, if you're concerned, contact the HOA and just ascertain that the person that you're looking to hire is not that person. But that's the end of that conversation.
Okay. I think we're going to move on from this item.
Last item.
And the last item is going to be a message from the master board on gate access.
I thought my subject was bad.
Before I give it to you, guys, we all read the Facebook pages. We all, the master board gets hammered. They are really trying to do us a favor and work with us. They are trying to do what's best for the community. Maybe put the keyboard down for a couple of months. Just saying.
Sorry, Mark, before you start, oh, yeah, go ahead. Sorry. He needs to keep his mic on. Laura has asked, it needs to be discussed too much legal fees, but I don't think that's something that we'll discuss tonight.
So move on from that.
Yeah. Sorry, Mark.
Go ahead, Mark.
Do I still have 2 hours?
Yes.
I've missed my book club exchange. Sorry, ladies.
I'm going to try to cram a lot of information in 5 minutes, but look, so for those of you who don't know me, I'm Mark Lostra, Country Club resident for the last 8 years. I'm a volunteer of the master board with 6 other volunteers, including Mark Shazinski, our president, who couldn't be here tonight. He really wanted to be here, but he had a family issue, so he couldn't be here. So I'm speaking for the master. Look, this is the gate access in this community is a very complex issue, right? I've dealt with government agencies, I'm a on the southern border. I've worked with TSA at airports, and I can tell you that nothing compares to gate access in Champions Gate. Look, Lennar left us with a mess. If you don't know the history, they bought a developer back in 2009, I think it was, and they adopted the master plan, but they added another 1,000 short-term rental homes without improving any of the infrastructure, the roads, the gatehouses, nothing. So this is what we're stuck with. And I want to call out our residents in Track K especially. Neil's here, yes. Neil, you going to speak for Track K?
No. Enough is said on Facebook about it.
Yeah, Track K, I gotta say, Track K is a disaster. Whoever designed that was drinking, well, we won't go into that. Yeah. So look, and I've been studying this problem, and Campbell McAnally is on the committee with me. We've been studying this problem for years, and look, there's been a lot of solutions proposed on Facebook, such as, why don't we add a gatehouse to Track K? Why don't we turn Fazio into an entrance instead of an exit? And there's answers for all those questions and solutions, proposed solutions. One is, like, for example, Fazio. We actually had Osceola County Traffic out to look at Fazio, and we asked them, could we turn this into an entrance? And they said, not unless you have a turnaround spot. So every entrance, if you look at all the entrances to Champions Gate, they all have a place to turn around if you make a mistake and go into the wrong entrance. Fazio doesn't have a space to do that. If you look at it, there's a ditch on the right, which is an easement, and then you have homes right behind the gate. So there's no place to put a turnaround. So that's why Fazio cannot be a resident-only entrance. A gatehouse at Track K entrance would be great, but you know how much gatehouses cost? Because we would have to run plumbing to the gatehouse because it's an OSHA regulation that the gate attendants have to have a toilet. They have to be able to go to the bathroom. So at a minimum, a gatehouse at Track K entrance would be on the at least $200,000 at least. So that's, so what we've done to make a long story short, what we've done is we've hired a consultant, two consultants actually, one to look at all the gate access technology, the lanes, the cameras, all the equipment, because a lot of it's 10 years old or older, and a lot of it's breaking down. In fact, we have a network infrastructure that Spectrum provides that is also, it's be like laying fresh sod on bad roofs, right? The network infrastructure needs to be improved, right? So we have to start there, and then we start looking at the equipment, right? And then we hired another consultant who is an expert on crime prevention through environmental design. So his name is Dr. Randy Atlas. He was out here last Thursday. He looked at the whole community. He looked at the landscaping, the lighting, all the components of the community. And he's going to be making his recommendations on how to better improve all these things. So you already noticed that some of our lighting is terrible. Some at the gatehouses, the overhead lighting and everything it's not sufficient. So both consultants will be giving us a draft report in mid to late January so that we can move forward, right? They're going to make a recommendation to the board, and we'll convey that information to all. I don't know if everybody realizes, we have 7 HOAs in this community. Not only 7 HOAs, but a lot of the property in here is managed by the CDD. So a lot of the stuff we have to get, we have to run by other organizations before we can do anything. And we just now, this year, because we just turned over last year, after turned over, we finally have some money. So we have money for the consultants, and we're going to have money for gate access technology and everything that goes with it. So can I open it up for questions?
That's your choice.
I'm open for questions.
Mark?
Yes.
I have a question. The SAGE system.
Yes.
Is that dead, or is that going to be
right now
resurrected?
It's on hold. It was so it was a no obligation, no cost project from Ramco to replace our ABDI gate access software. We had no obligation to move forward with it. We had no obligation to pay for anything. They just wanted to do it to see if it worked. So we chose the Track K residents to be the guinea pigs. And now we've realized that it didn't roll out properly. So we put it on hold.
Okay.
Yeah.
It seems most of the problems stem from the retreat, obviously, correct? Correct? Just say yes. Yes, yes. So what, is there an appetite for just getting rid of the retreat gates and just fortify the gates into the country club?
You'll have to ask the retreat members for that answer, but I would say that they would object to that. They want to know who's coming into the community.
And so do we.
Yeah.
It's not if they don't even argue.
No, but if you have, these party houses and you have a shooting over the weekend or something, there has to be some sort of controls.
That's where the problems are.
Also, I think vendors, breaking the K-Track gates.
Yeah, certainly breaking the gate. It's not.
I've
it's
seen
not retreat,
Kroger.
Not often retreat. It's often the vendors.
No, I've seen
breaking the
Kroger
gates.
break our gate. Just drove through it. And I was hoping he wasn't going to my house.
So I would say the consultants we hired are subject matter experts on what they do. In fact, one of them used to work for the State Department. He designed security systems into U.S. embassies. Very well qualified. He lives in Windermere. He lives in a gated community in Windermere and designed their system. And Dr. Randy Atlas is a subject matter expert on crime prevention through environmental design. So we have two really good people working for us. And I think you will see some improvements in 2025.
Good.
Sorry, Mark, can I just say as well, and I don't know if it's going to be much consolation to people who have problems with the gates. We're lucky over here, we rarely have problems. K-Track, God love them, and then sometimes over Whistling Straits and stuff. As someone who works in different communities around, every gated community has issues like this. We are not alone. It's probably much more common than it's uncommon. And I know Solterra is a big issue because they only have one gate. And you have residential and short-term rental homes down there. And this weekend the Thanksgiving weekend was a nightmare. So while I know we think it's only us, I can't think of any gated community other than somewhere like Bay Hill or Isleworth that doesn't have these problems.
And Osceola County Sheriff's Department, who we retain on the weekends, I'm sure you've seen their vehicles, they have told us that our community was the worst, and now it's getting much better because we are now denying the unregistered guests. So in fact, the day before Thanksgiving, we processed 12,700 vehicles and the 18 gates, manned and unmanned gates. And we had 140 denials. So that's pretty good. We're getting better. So I will say though that, I think the master board and the country club board really need to get with Osceola County and our representative, Peggy
Chowdhury.
And really start getting on her radar about improving our roads. Bellacita needs to be widened. West Side needs to be widened, right? We need more infrastructure.
And we need to make sure they don't build that development down the bottom of Happy Trails in Bellacita.
Yeah, I mean, Osceola County passed a penny tax a year ago, or 2 years ago. I don't think we've seen any of that. I think it's all going to Kissimmee and Poinciana. We should be demanding our roads be fixed.
Got a question here from Gene.
Mark, you mentioned about widening the west side, and when I talked to Osceola, they said it was Lennar's responsibility to widen it. And has anyone spoken to them to see if that's on their radar? Is there a way to force them into it or do anything to help that situation?
Oh, Lennar doesn't talk to us.
Right now,
they're not taking that call.
Gene, I'll follow up on that.
Thanks, Mark. Okay. I guess we now open the floor for questions, comments.
James, just say we can.
I can't hear you.
That is, I would like to thank the board for your talent You guys do a really good job, and I'm just grateful that you're all sitting back there. You're doing a good job.
Good. Thank you. Thank you.
Dean?
I could have swore I saw a place in Four Keys where we used to be able to see, or in a demo I saw where you could see your credit book balance, but I can't find it anymore. Does anybody know of that capability? I asked Ben, he doesn't know, he's gonna check on it, but I just wondered.
So, my understanding
I
is,
saw a demo from the.
so functionality is, I don't think we have that because the credit book balance is where we bury that's how we do the 900. And we can only do one, right? I'm pretty sure.
Right, so when we ran that report in Salesforce, we had to filter out the $900.
900 out.
So the way the system is set up is it's treating the $900 food and beverage minimum as a credit.
Yes.
So it's difficult to, so it's not published in the app because you'd also see the balance of the.
It would be very confusing.
Okay, so they changed directions after we originally saw a demo.
Oh, they changed a lot of directions, yes.
Yeah.
180.
All right. I just want to give a shout out to Ben, Mitch, and James. I'm going to tell you, the food is never.
Mitch and James. Ben.
Ask Stephanie for all the great violations. But I will tell you, the food has never been better here. The variety has been outstanding at the plaza. James has done a yeoman's job getting the right people down there. And Ben, he's the best pro we've had since we've been here. Stephanie, she's driving the train. Thank you.
All right, anything else? All right. Oh,
Just one last question. When do we get, or when's it appropriate for the board to update on the claim with Lennar?
so,
I was going to say, we did give an update at the last board meeting.
Yeah, you might, did Robin?
we do have her scheduled.
But
We do have Kaylin scheduled in,
I think
it's the end of January. They just finished doing the deconstruction.
we have got, we're going to do it every quarter.
Progressing.
I will buy you to rehearse it.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, so after that, a motion to adjourn?
I motion.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you for staying as well for almost 3 hours.
Oh my God, I missed me exchange. Oh
You
my God,
did.
go.
I knew it was at least two.
I sent it, yeah, I sent